What's up, Kaz? Oh, shit, man.
So you changed it?
I didn't mean to do that. Give me the other fucking remote. Hold on. Yeah, I need that other remote. You're going to have to take the TV remote.
That one don't work on it.
It shuts the TV on and off. Still. It's connected to the TV, remember? What's up, Florida Claimers, Ted? I know, weird night, huh? What's up, Noah? Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do a lot of this. What's up, Daniel? Happy Friday. Friday the 13th.
It's not Friday.
It's not Friday anymore, man. It's not Friday the 13th anymore, bro. It's because it was Friday the 13th, and it should have been what? No, it shouldn't have been a full moon. I thought it should have been a full moon. I thought it was a full moon.
Coming up. This church was supposed to be a
Mute. It paid off cool. I bet, bro. Especially what you go through on this day, Ted. I got to get y'all on the TV. Hold on. I don't know why the fuck it went out of the damn diamond. D-Man's Diamond Art channel.
Uh-huh.
I did this stupid shit, but I went out on accident. Hey, Junebug, how you doing, sweetie? Hi, Junebug. You have a good night, sweetie. Whoa, what is that? Oh, fuck, I forgot I put it on. I forgot I put it on. Lucy, what's up, Lucy? Let's get some diamond art done, guys. What
How
do
about
you
some
think?
air conditioner?
Yeah, that'll work too, because I'm sweating my. I was gonna say balls off, but.
Look at him.
Hi, buddy, Hunter. Hunter. Hi. What's up, Homo Scum? I know you went live exactly at the same time I did, bro. I got your notification right at the same time, bro. I went live and then I got your notification that you went live, bro. Bro, now I have to go back to fucking Google. Yeah, bro, I know. Oh, you did too? Oh, that's how you knew I was live. What is the other? 25 books. I think it's this one. Oh, no, I can go here. Hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. Here's Cleopatra. Let's open this one up. Never mind. I don't have to download it again. Thank God. I was on chapter 6. Oh, it was a gift. Okay.
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain.
Oh,
For
in the,
more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. This reading by Anna Roberts. Cleopatra by Jacob Abbott. Chapter 6. Cleopatra and Caesar. Cleopatra's perplexity. She resolves to go to Alexandria. Cleopatra's message to Caesar. Caesar's reply. Apollodorus' stratagem. Cleopatra and Caesar. First impressions. Caesar's attachment. Caesar's wife. His fondness for Cleopatra. Cleopatra's
shout out to the 6 people in
She
chat.
comments her cause to Caesar. Caesar's pretensions. He sends for Ptolemy. Ptolemy's indignation. His complaints against Caesar. Great tumult in the city. Excitement of the populace. Caesar's forces. Ptolemy made prisoner. Caesar's address to the people. Its effects. The mob dispersed. Caesar convenes an assembly. Caesar's decision. Satisfaction of the assembly. Festivals and rejoicings. Pothinus and Achilles. Plot of Pothinus and Achilles. Escape of Achilles. March of the Egyptian army. Measures of Caesar. Murder of the messengers. Intentions of Achilles. Cold-blooded assassination.
Oh, you got the big one in
Advantage of
today?
Achilles.
Oh, that's cool.
Caesar's arrangement.
What size is it again?
Cleopatra and Ptolemy. Double dealing of Pothinus.
Bro, I want to try to find me a 100 centimeter by 100 centimeter hobo scum.
Arsinoe and Ganymede.
It's going to be a
Flight of
big one,
Arsinoe.
bro.
She is proclaimed queen by the
My wife don't think I can do it.
Complexity of the young Ptolemy. In the meantime, while the events related in the last chapter were taking place at Alexandria, Cleopatra remained anxious and uneasy in her camp, quite uncertain, for a time, what it was best for her to do. She wished to be at Alexandria.
Oh, shoot.
She knew very well that Caesar's power in controlling the course of affairs in Egypt would necessarily be supreme. She was, of course, very earnest in her desire to be able to present her cause before him.
I can't remember what size you said it was.
Ptolemy and Pothinus were in communication with the arbiter, and, for aught she knew, assiduously cultivating his favor. While she was far away, her cause unheard, her wrongs unknown, and perhaps even her existence forgotten. Of course, under such circumstances, she was very earnest to get to Alexandria. But how to accomplish this purpose was a source of great perplexity. She could not march thither at the head of an army, for the army of the king was strongly entrenched at Pelusium, and effectually barred the way. She could not attempt to pass.
If I asked her for help, Cassie, she'll do the whole damn thing.
For every town and village was occupied
one?
with garrisons and officers.
100 by 100.
Oh, heck no, I wouldn't.
Intercepted.
She said, heck no, she would. 150, 110 centimeter. What?
Besides, even if she
Bro,
could
that's
by
crazy.
any means reach the gates
I want
of
100 by 100. That's
How
my
much
goal
she
is to get 100 by 100.
city to the palace where Caesar resided, since the city, except in Caesar's quarters, was wholly in the hands of Pothinus' government. The difficulties in the way of accomplishing her object seemed thus almost insurmountable.
My goal is 100 by 100, y'all.
Resolved to make the attempt. She sent a message to Caesar, asking permission to appear before him and plead her own cause. Caesar replied, urging her by all means to come. She took a single boat, and with the smallest number of attendants possible, made her way along the coast to Alexandria. The man on whom she principally relied in this hazardous expedition was a domestic named Apollodorus. She had, however, some other attendants besides. When the party reached Alexandria,
Bigger than you
it was
thought?
night, then advanced to the foot of the walls of the citadel. Here, Apollodorus rolled the queen up in a piece of carpeting, and covering the whole package with a cloth, he tied it with a thong, so as to give it the appearance of a bale of ordinary merchandise, and then throwing the load across his shoulder, he advanced into the city. Cleopatra was at this time about 21 years of age, but she was of a slender and graceful form, and the burden was, consequently, not very heavy. Apollodorus came to the gates of the palace where Caesar was residing. The guards at the gates...
That one's gonna take you a while then, bro.
He said that it was
It's gonna take her than you.
So
What's
they
up,
allowed
Nora?
him
How you
to
doing,
pass,
sweetie?
and the pretended porter carried his package in safely. When it was unrolled and Cleopatra came out to view, Caesar was perfectly charmed with the spectacle. In fact, the various conflicting emotions, which she could not but feel under such circumstances as these, imparted a double interest to her beautiful and expressive face and to her naturally bewitching manners. She was excited by the adventure through which she had passed, and yet pleased with her narrow escape from its dangers.
Oh, you're no problem, Nora.
Curiosity and interest which she felt on the one hand in respect
You already know.
personage into whose presence she had been thus strangely ushered was very strong, but then, on the other hand, it was chastened and subdued by that feeling of timidity which, in new and unexpected situations like these, and under a consciousness of being the object of eager observation to the other sex, is inseparable from the nature of women.
15 done for Christmas,
The
really?
conversation which Caesar held with Cleopatra
Yeah, you better
deepened
get on
the
your game
impression
then,
which her
Cassie.
first appearance had made upon him. Her intelligence and animation, the originality of her ideas, and the point and pertinency of her mode of expressing them, made her, independently of her personal charms, an exceedingly entertaining and agreeable companion. She, in fact, completely won the great conqueror's heart, and, through the strong attachment to her,
I seen Brian was on earlier on
he was
Fortnite.
qualified to act impartially between her and her brother in regard to their respective rights to the crown. We call Ptolemy Cleopatra.
Was Brian playing Fortnite
for
earlier?
though he was also, in fact, her husband, still, as he was only 10 or 12 years of age at the time of Cleopatra's expulsion from Alexandria, the marriage had been probably regarded thus far only as a mere matter of form. Caesar was now about 52. He had a wife, named Calpurnia, to whom he had been married about 10 years. She was living at this time in an
Muffin?
unostentatious and quiet manner at Rome.
I saw
She was
Muffin
a
on
lady of
earlier.
amiable and gentle character, devotedly attached to her husband, patient and forbearing in respect to his faults, and often
When I was playing with Florida Prophet Hunter, I saw him on.
dangers in which his ardent and unbounded ambition so often involved him.
I didn't see what he was
He
in,
immediately began to take a very
what game he was playing, but I saw him on.
He treated her personally with the fondest attention, and it was impossible for her not to reciprocate, in some degree, the kindness
Or was that
with which
you?
he regarded her. It was, in fact, something altogether new to her to have a warm and devoted friend espousing her cause, tenderly
Oh, he was playing with Junior?
seeking in every
Oh,
way
okay.
to promote her happiness. Her father had all his life neglected her.
What's up, Tex
Brother
guy?
of years and understanding totally inferior to hers, whom she had been compelled to make her husband, had been her mortal enemy. It is true that, in depriving her of her inheritance and expelling her from her native land, he had been only the tool and instrument of more designing men.
Here.
This, however,
Go get some
far
powder from in
the
there.
point of view from which she regarded him, made him appear not only hateful but contemptible too. All the officers of government, also, in the Alexandrian court had turned against her, because they had supposed that they could control her brother more
Bro, this one that I got, bro,
She had always been surrounded by selfish mercenaries.
you have to do it in sections, but this is the best one to get, bro. I got it from Cassie. This is a portable one. Yeah. It's a portable rechargeable light, bro. I got it from Cassie. I got everything that I got is from Cassie.
Confided to him all her interests and gave herself up wholly into his power.
Everything that goes with
Nor was the unbounded confidence
like,
she
look.
reposed in him undeserved, so far as related to his efforts to restore her to her throne.
I got that from Cassie. I got a set of these from Cassie. 2 sets of these from Cassie because Cassie didn't want to use hers anymore. We got the pencil from Cassie. I got all this from Cassie. Hold on, I'm gonna show you everything I got from Cassie. Like I said, if it wasn't for Cassie, my best friend, well, now my best friend is my wife, but my best friend outside of my wife, I got this from Cassie. I got these rollers from Cassie. Oh, sorry, too far. The rollers from Cassie. I got a lot of these extra pieces from Cassie. Yeah, bro, they're not cheap, bro. I understand that. I got these extra ones, extra waxes. I got this from Cassie. I got where's the other one? Shoot. I don't even know where the other one's at right now, but I'm gonna have to get some more fucking damn polyurethane, man.
In the course of the conversation, he learned that Cleopatra had arrived at Alexandria, and that she was then.
Me and Cassie's known each other for over 20 years.
Intelligence awakened in his mind the greatest excitement and indignation. He went away from Caesar's palace in a rage. He tore the diadem which he was accustomed to wear in the streets from his head.
But the only ones that I use Homo Scum is the single one. The single one. I use the 6 one. And I use this one, the 3 one, and the 4 one. Those are the only 2 that I use, that I ever use. I don't use this one right here. This is a 9 and 10 diamond. One I could use. I don't ever use it. I barely use this one.
that what
Which I
really
will probably give this
arose
pencil back to my wife if she wants
fear
it.
of commanding
I'll take it
influence and
back.
power to which Cleopatra was led
'Cause I don't use it.
through the agency of so distinguished a protector.
I can see
Rather
if you
than
stop
any other
scratching it, it's gonna get.
consequences
If you don't
of
stop scratching it,
or
it's gonna
any
get worse than what it
real
already is.
considerations
And I
of delicacy in
wonder
respect
about
to his
this
sister's
side.
goodwill or his own marital honor.
Nope.
However,
It's
the
just on that
same
side 'cause you
Ptolemy,
sweating on
together
that
with
side.
Pothinus and Achilles, and all his other friends and
Yeah, that's from her, bro. This is all her extra stuff that when she upgraded
he had discovered
to new stuff,
Cleopatra and Caesar.
like she even gave me this right here, guys. I forgot to even show you this right here. She even gave me this right here, where I can take this out.
Full of indignation and anger. Some knew the facts and acted under
Look, I even got this big one. If this wasn't for Cassie, bro, I wouldn't have none of this, man. I swear, I would not have none of my Diamond Art stuff if it wasn't for Cassie. I don't know why I don't use this one, but I'll use this one when I get ready to do like 5 or 6 colors at a time. She gave me all of this, man. All she asked me for back is to help her in return when I sell them. Which I need to, when I get the money, I need to give her some about $200.
A large body of troops in Alexandria, for the events which had thus far occurred since Caesar's arrival had succeeded each other so rapidly that a very short time.
Yeah, she is, Nora.
And the main army remained uneasy.
I tell you, when I tell you, me and this girl have been through.
Caesar was consisted of the people of the city, and perhaps by the
Excuse
few
me.
guards which the young king had
Oh,
at
wow.
his command.
Hiccup on that one.
Caesar, on his part, had but a small
Oh
portion
man,
of his
dude, I almost
forces at
fucking
the
forgot.
palace where he
Damn.
was attacked.
Let me plug this
The
phone back
rest
in.
were scattered about the city.
Look at this
He,
cat.
however, seems to have
Cover your
gone
shirt
so
for a
long,
minute.
he did not even confine himself to
The lights are really nice to me, Cassie. I mean, Cassie gave that to me.
his soldiers with
Look at this cat, guys.
She gave me one too.
Look at this cat.
soldiers trained, disciplined, and armed as the Roman veterans were, and nerved
Hunter.
by ardor and enthusiasm which
I
seemed
get
always to animate troops which were under Caesar's personal command, could accomplish almost any undertaking against the mere populace, however numerous or however furiously excited they might be. The soldiers sallied out, seized Ptolemy, and brought him in. The populace were at first
Shout out to the 9 people in the
very
chat, man.
presumptuous
Appreciate you guys.
and then exasperated at the indignity of it, considered as a violation of the person of their sovereign. The tumult would have greatly increased had it not been that Caesar, who had now attained all his ends in thus having brought Cleopatra and
Those
Ptolemy
letters are
both within his
huge now.
power,
Those
thought it
lights
most
are what?
expedient to allay it.
I said the
He accordingly
those letters.
ascended to the window of the tower,
What light?
or of some other
Light.
elevated portion of the
Oh,
tower,
the light? Yeah.
so high that from the mob below could not
Was-
reach him, and
Oh,
began to
you mean
make
like this?
signals expressive of his wish to address them. When silence was obtained, he made them a speech well calculated to quiet the excitement. He told them that he did not pretend
like
to any
that.
right to judge
Damn,
between
you could actually-
Cleopatra and Ptolemy as their superior, but only
Do I remember what ones that you gave me? Oh man, let me figure this out. Hold on. I think I do. I don't think there's any up on the wall anymore. I don't think there's any on the wall that you gave. Oh no, there's only one. There's one. There's the money. The music note. That's the only one up on the wall that you gave me, and I think the friends you gave me, right? She gave me the friends, yeah. You gave me the friends, didn't you? She gave me the friends and the music note. Those are the only 2 that I heard up there. Oh, and the butterfly. And the butterfly.
She didn't give it to you.
She gave it to you, though.
And she gave me that.
Which one?
This speech, made as it was, in
The elephant?
persuasive,
No.
and yet dignified
Oh, the stoned I am.
No.
Yeah, she gave us the stoned I am. Oh, she gave us that one up there. You gave us that one. Stoned I am. Friends, the music note. The music note, and that's the only one up there. Okay, let me go and.
Except for that one.
Oh, and I forgot. And she gave me the skull one.
Frame.
She gave me the skull one. Okay, you gave me these ones. Hold on, let me show you. Hold on. Okay, let me show you the ones that you gave me. Let me turn my camera around. Okay, you gave me that one, that one. You gave me that one down there, the stoned one.
Don't forget my one that's the Stairway
She-
to Heaven.
She gave us that one. That's what I pointed at first. You gave me that one. You gave me that one, that one, that one, that one, that one.
I can't remember the small
You gave me these 2 over here, this one and this one. You gave me that one. You gave me that one.
I can't remember.
All right, then let me go in the
I
box.
can't remember the small one she gave me.
Let me go in the box. I'll show you in the box which ones I still have. The ones that you gave me.
When therefore Caesar announced that, in his judgment, Cleopatra was entitled to share the supreme power with Ptolemy,
All
and
right,
that it
let's
was his
see.
duty
What's
as
in
the
the box
representative
that she
of the
gave
Roman
us?
power and the executor of the
Oh,
will
shoot, it's backwards. How the
to
fuck is that
protect both the
backwards?
king and the queen in their respective rights. There seemed to be nothing that could be said against his decision.
And that Grateful Dead
Besides
one.
Cleopatra and Ptolemy, there were two other children of
She
Ptolemy
gave you the Grateful Dead one?
royal family at this time.
No, she didn't give
One
you the
was a
Grateful
girl
Dead
named
one.
Arsinoe,
We do.
the other a boy.
Cassie,
One
you gave her the
was
Grateful
singularly
Dead one?
named like his brother
I
Ptolemy.
think so.
These children were quite
I don't
young,
think
but
she
Caesar
gave you that
thought
Grateful
it would
Dead one.
have to gratify the Alexandrians and lead them to acquiesce more
These are the
towards
5
the
newest
Greeks.
ones I got, Cassie.
There
Look,
to make some royal
guys, these are the
Oh
5.
yeah, and the
He
one I
accordingly
did for
These are-
Christina.
assigned the island
These
to
are the
Atlas
5
around
newest
the map.
ones I did.
This
I
was
got.
literally a gift.
I'm thinking about
Cyprus
doing
was
this
at
one
time
next.
a Roman possession. The whole assembly seemed satisfied.
Thinking
with
about
his
doing this
decision,
one
except
next.
Pothinus. He
No,
was
no to which one,
a
Cassie?
veteran enemy to Cleopatra, that, as he was well aware,
No to which one are you talking about?
his downfall and ruin.
The Grateful Dead one? No, I told you she didn't give you the Grateful Dead one.
He would not submit to
She might be talking about the Grateful.
He adopted
What
Christian
did
measures to prevent its being carried into effect. Caesar made arrangements.
You're talking about the Grateful Dead, right?
Celebrations to commemorate.
These are the newest ones I got. That one.
Understanding between the king and the queen, and the consequent termination of the war. Such celebrations.
I got this one with the Twin Towers with the firefighters on the bottom. She got me this one.
And friendly feeling throughout the city. The people fell in with these measures and cordially cooperated to give them effect. But Pothinus and Achilles, though they
That one, Trish got me. The one I showed you with the Jesus, her cousin got me.
Yes, to which one?
To the Grateful Dead. She didn't give you the Grateful Dead. I told you she didn't. Talking about the Grateful Dead. Trish got me this one. No, Mike got me this one. You did? Trish got me this one.
To resist the policy which would end in bringing Egypt under the
That's a
dominion
30
of
by 30.
He also formed a plan in connection with Achilles for ordering the army back. to
Trish got me
Jerusalem.
that one.
The army
So you got
consisted
me
of 30,000
2.
men.
Mike got me 3,
If
right?
that army could be brought to Alexandria and kept under Pothinus'
Mike got me this one.
Caesar and
Oh, I
his
love this
20,000
one,
Roman
man.
soldiers would be, they thought, fully
That's
in
a
their
30
rights.
by 30.
There was, however,
I
one
love the
key
colors
to
on
be
that.
guarded against in
The way the
order
yellow
to march towards the capital,
outlines it.
and that was the Ptolemy.
Well, like the one I got is
Oh, I love the one you got me.
Communication with the officers.
Oh, and, oh, guys, you're gonna love this one. Who, you got me this one?
All the conspirators'
Well, Mike did.
designs.
Mike got me this one, guys.
It was
Look,
arranged
it's
between
got
them
freaking it on it.
that the latter should make his escape from Alexandria.
It's got Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, it, and Jason. Jason.
Troops there and conduct them himself.
Those are the 5 newest ones that I got. Shout out to the 6 people in chat. 5 thumbs up. Appreciate you guys. Okay, now the ones Cassie gave me. Okay, I got one.
Guards were probably stationed at the gates
Yeah.
leading from the city. Achilles contrived.
Okay, let's do this one at a time. Okay.
He placed himself at the head of the forces and commenced his march.
All right,
towards
then
the
here's these big ones. These are the 2 biggest ones that I got left. These are- These should be from Cassie.
Yeah.
These are from Cassie, guys. These ones are from you, Cassie.
In order that he might cooperate with the army and Achilles when they should arrive.
These 2 are from you. This one,
All these things were done with the utmost secrecy, and so
This
cunning
one is
was
from
one
you?
of the conspirators in forming and executing their plots that Caesar seems to have had no knowledge of the measures which his enemies were taking, until he suddenly
This one
heard
is
that
from
the main
you?
body of Ptolemy's army was approaching the city, at least 20,000 strong. In the meantime, however, the forces which
that is a 80 by 48 centimeters, guys. The last 2 is an 80 by 40 centimeter. I did a 90 by 30. It's up on the wall. It's the Eagle one. It took me 12 days to finish that one. I could have finished it. I could have finished it in about 9.5 days, 10 days, but I took my time on it. That one had almost the Eagle one. If you see the Eagle one up there, that had almost 26,000 diamonds in it when I finished it. It had 25,500 and something diamonds after I ended it. I should have fucking damn sealed it already, but yeah, that one is the biggest one that I did was the Eagle one so far. My goal is to hit 100 by 100 centimeters. Hobo Scum that's in the chat, he got 110 centimeter by 50 centimeter one that he needs to do. But he don't have the room. Okay.
He knew very
Okay.
well that the king would
So,
rejoice
here
in the
comes
result
the-
and would
okay.
overlook all irregularities on his part.
This one I got from you, Cassie.
Accomplished it. Short
This
of
one.
absolute
Yeah.
disobedience.
This one I got from you.
Whatever might be the commands that these messengers were bringing him,
That one I got from you.
that they doubtless originated not in Ptolemy's own free will,
She remembers
but that they
every
were
one of them.
dictated
She's
by
got
the
a
authority
she
of
got
Caesar.
a receipt of every one
Still,
of them.
they would be commands
Okay,
of
I know none of the small ones are from her. This one's not from her.
Military despots of those ancient days showed that, rather than to take the responsibility of directly disobeying the royal order,
This one might be from her. I can't remember.
to avoid receiving it by murdering.
I think this one's from her.
Achilles therefore.
Yes, this one's from you.
seized and slain.
Yes, that's
They were accordingly taken off. and
This one you got me.
and then the
Cassie got me
bodies
this
were laid.
one.
The soldiers,
You guys
however,
can
was
see it.
found, and not
It's
that there
another-
was sexual.
It's a mouth
There
with
was
a
no
it's a mouth with a blunt in the
involved
mouth.
in assassination.
Almost called like that
A
one.
sentiment of
Okay.
compassion
like a
between
flower.
Indians.
No.
At
You
any
should give me
rate,
none of
though
these
both
ones,
men were
right?
desperately wounded, only one died. The other lived and recovered.
Did she
Achilles
say-
yes.
continued to advance toward the city.
Okay, yes to that one. Okay,
Finding
You
that
should
the
give me that
crisis
one,
which
didn't
was approaching was becoming very serious in its
you
character,
did.
took himself
did.
the whole
Okay.
command within
Mike
the
did.
capital and began to make
Okay, she got me that one. She didn't give me the Phoenix, right? You did, right? Or that was your other one. Or was that his other one?
That was
Against
his.
the overwhelming
Okay.
force which was advancing to
This one's his.
He accordingly entrenched his troops
Or is
in
that
the
yours?
palaces and in the citadel,
Okay.
and in such other parts of the city.
Marilyn
as the
Monroe,
city
you got
pressed
me, right?
to defend.
Mike got me. Here's the Marilyn Monroe one. Who said that they liked Marilyn Monroe the other night?
Nor did he, while thus doing all of this,
Yeah, you should be able to use the kitchen, dude.
of defense already in his hands, the
I had this whole entire thing right here, man. This whole entire table. Who got me this one? He did. Or no, this was- that was you. No, that was Mike. That was Mike. That was Mike. Okay, so these were all you and Mike.
Where's the one for the
During all this time, Cleopatra
Okay, who got me this one? You did. This is the one you got.
Both ostensibly cooperating with him in his counsels
I
and
don't
measures for
remember
defending
getting
the
it
city
from
from the killers.
Oh, then they had to have been Mike then.
Cleopatra, of course,
Had to have been
sincere
Mike got me this one. Mike got me this one.
Ptolemy's adhesion to the common cause was very
Is it
little
upside
to
down?
his
Of course it is.
Although situated as he was, he
That's
was
a 30 by 30.
on Caesar's side.
Lot of- Look at all
He
that
must
white,
have
man.
secretly desired that
Look at all that
Achilles
white.
succeed and
Oh,
Caesar's
no, I
plans
got
be
stuff like
overthrown.
that too.
But Thinis was more active, though not less cautious. than
Like I said, if it-
he opened secret communications.
Oh, the kitchen table?
sent
Yeah.
him information from
You're just gonna have to do it in sections, bro.
walls, and the
If you can't find the
fugitives
place,
there for
you just
defense
do it in sections.
against
I can't remember if she got me
Gave him
this
also
one.
directions how to proceed.
No.
He was very
That
wary
was you?
and sagacious in all these
Who was
matters,
that? Mike?
aiming all
You
the
sure?
time to be on Caesar's side.
Okay, that Mike got me this one. The Statue of Liberty. And Ellis Island? That's Ellis Island, you know that, right? You know, Statue of Liberty is at Ellis Island.
I never remember.
You know what Ellis
I
Island
thought
is?
it was New York City.
What?
What Statue of Liberty is.
At Ellis Island.
There was a barber in Caesar's house.
Okay, there's this one. Okay, I know you got me this one because I think that because it's got the.
And having little
thing on.
else to do, he employed
I know you got me this one. I think this one's going to be a little controversial because it says I'm blunt because God rolled me that way. This one's going to be a little controversial, man. But it's true. Weed's been around for 10,000 years. Hemp. What do you think hemp's made out of? It's made out of weed.
This circumstance produced, of course, a great
Yeah, you're going to have to definitely do that one in sections, bro.
For many years, the great ruling minister of state. The king, in
Okay,
fact,
who got me this? Cassie got me this one.
See,
his execution
It's the Spider-Man
along
one.
with
Yep.
others who,
Cassie, you got me this one, right?
were
Yes.
secretly wishing
You got me the Spider-Man. Say yes, Spider-Man, and then I know this is the one you're talking. When you say yeah, I do, and I've already went over a couple of them, I don't remember which one you're talking about. I asked you
I
about.
remember.
Yo, Cassie got me this one. I know for sure. Cassie got me this one. I know Cassie got me that one for sure.
For immediately after
That's
the-
a 30 by 40.
I want that guitar one back so I can do it.
What guitar one?
By the
better
present
have it in there.
preparations, which were
No,
required
no, you're not doing that guitar one. No, I want to do that one.
That was mine.
You gave it to me. I
And
wanna
Mike
do
gave
that.
it to me.
I want to do that one. I want to do
You
it.
y'all got more than I do.
Was beheaded. He concluded that it would be
I'll give you a
safest
smaller
She
for
said
one.
yes, Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Okay, that's what I thought. I don't remember who gave me this one. You gave me this one.
But he succeeded in
She gave me that one.
I
Arsena
don't
was
remember.
very
She gave me that. No,
He
she
was
did.
now beginning to
She
be
did.
old enough to feel the impulse of that insatiable
She-
and reckless ambition,
She did.
which seemed to
Just
form
say
such an
yes.
essential element
No,
to
yes,
preserve every
Trump.
son and daughter in the whole Ptolemaic line.
because I don't know which one she's gonna be, which one I'm gonna be on by the time she responds. Say yes, trucks, Cassie, please. Since that one was yours. I know she didn't get me this one. Mike got me this
Phyllis
one.
and his army received her acclamations.
Or was that
Under
her?
Ganymede's influence,
That was
they
her,
decided
wasn't it?
that, as all the other members
Was-
of the royal family were
Was this one you too?
being
Say
held
yes,
captive
dragon.
or
If this one's you.
She said
by chance.
Trucks,
Trucks,
yes?
yes.
Okay, alright. Say dragons, yes, if I gave you this one. If you gave me this one.
I think
I think she did. I'm not for sure though. That's why I'm asking her. So I remember all the ones you gave me. So, and then those are the ones I haven't done yet. So let's go to the ones.
On the one side,
Where is the
Ganymede
one with the guitar
officers on
guitar
the
on
other.
it?
The young
Right here.
Ptolemy, in the meantime, remained
I'll let
Caesar's
you do
prisoner,
that one, but
confused with the intricacies
Here, I'll let you do the dragon and the truck.
I want to do that
Scarcely
one.
knowing now what
You
I
wanna
want
do-
to do. I
Wanna
want
do
to.
this one?
No, I want to do the guitar.
It was very difficult
No,
to foresee
I want to
whether
do the guitar.
best
I want to do the
Cleopatra
guitar.
or that Arsinoe should succeed. End of
Give it to
chapter
me
6.
first. You got more than me, anyway.
Oh man, I like the bags, babe. You gotta let me do this. What do you mean I have more than you do? You was buying them more. I only got
I
20.
have less than y'all. No.
Yes, dragon. Okay, so I know all the ones that I haven't done yet. I know the ones that you gave me. But I do owe you $200. But as soon as I can get some fucking money or sell some of these, I'll give you some money. You have like 100 dragon, 100 drugs. Dragons.
Which one were you gonna let me do?
I was gonna let you do this one, the big one. The bigger than this one. This one.
I'll take that one.
I was gonna let you do this one.
I'll take
But see, it has the bags like I like, but I'm gonna give you this one since you want. I want to do the dragon. See, and that one's
Since
from
you want
Cassie
to do
too.
my freaking one for the
Yeah, but that's the big one. That's bigger than the guitar. That's gonna be your biggest. All right, Lucy. That's gonna be your biggest one that you ever did.
Oh, my biggest one I did was the cocoa melon.
That's bigger than the cocoa melon.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No. Nope. Cocoa melon was bigger. Sorry.
Oh yeah, cocoa melon was bigger. Yes, cocoa melon was. We gotta go to church Sunday. I
Hey,
cannot.
Cassie,
We cannot.
my daughter loves her cocoa melon picture.
Is that what Jennifer said?
Yes, I got a text her today. Find out how she's doing. When's the next time I can see her?
Shout out to the 6 people in chat. Appreciate you guys. I'm gonna be live until y'all know I'm gonna be live until Ernie live. Ernie comes
It's
live.
today's Saturday.
Oh shit, that's right. Coco was a 30 by 40.
Told you.
What is that one? That's a 30 by 40. It's the same damn size.
It don't even seem that way.
It's the same damn size.
Oh,
babe.
yeah. I'm not sure if she gave me this one or if not.
Cassie, what is this?
It's the sunrise.
Did you give her the sunrise one? Did you give her this one? Do you remember? It's a 20 by 30. I think Mike got this for you.
See, like I said, I don't remember.
I can't remember if you got this for her. Shout out to the 7 people in the chat, 7 likes. Appreciate it, guys. So there's that. No, she said she did not get this for you. So Mike got this one for you.
Okay.
So Mike got this one for
All
you.
right.
Okay. So here
See,
is.
with all these little ones, I don't remember. I think Mike got me most of it.
I'll tell you which ones Mike got you. Hold on. Let me tell you which ones Mike got you. Mike got you those 4 over there.
You know?
He got you those. He got you the guitar.
You know?
He got the dragon.
You
Or
know?
not the dragon.
It's the horse with
The horse.
With the,
He got the Titanic.
that one's yours.
He got the elephant, but he got it though.
Yeah.
He got the elephant.
Yeah. I
He
did
got
that
all
one.
4 of these.
Yeah.
He got all 4 of those. He got that one up there. He got the cat.
He got,
And he got
them all.
the cat, and he got that one, and he got me the eagle one.
Okay, so
All those ones up on the wall came mostly
all
from
the
Mike.
small ones.
All the small ones came from Mike. So now here's the ones that I haven't done. Well, I've done already. These are the ones we got done.
Yeah, please say we.
We.
I'm still doing one other one, and it's a small one.
Look, this is look at this stack, guys, of ones we've already did that haven't even been sealed yet. I'm not gonna show you the ones that.
Oh, she gave us the ones that my mom.
Yes, the one that she gave us the one that I.
She gave us the black and white Jesus one.
Did she give us the Bible, the one with the tree of life in it, with the Bible that I sold
Yes.
to that I sold to Lucy?
Yes, and the one for
Okay,
Ernie's.
the one. Oh, and Ernie, and
Ernie's
and
and
sh-
Anthony's and just others.
okay, this one is sealed already, but this one is sold to Ernie. This one's already sold. Here, put that. Oh, here. This one's already sold.
I think
You gave me
just
this
that
one, right?
Yes.
Yes or no, Eagle? Yes or no, Eagle, Cassie? I think she did. I think she did give me this one. I'm pretty sure she did. That I can put over here. No, no, I'm doing that. That one's for Sam McGurney. Okay. These ones, hold on. One. She gave you that one, right? No. Yeah, she gave me that
She
one.
gave me mostly all the stitch ones.
Okay, she gave me this one.
Yes.
I know she gave me that one. Did she give you this one?
No.
Okay, no. The Panda
No,
Bears?
I got that one.
Panda Bears?
No.
No Eagles? What? You didn't give me this? Who got me this then? Who
Mike.
got me that?
Mike.
Are you sure? Fuck, if he was, your mind wasn't sleeping, I'd scream for him.
No, he's sleeping too.
No, the light was on when I was out there.
Well, it's
And the
off
door was
now.
wide open.
Oh,
Okay.
it's off now and
Okay,
down.
this one is sold. This one is sold.
And she gave me both those.
She gave you both of these. You gave her both of those. We already know. So that one, those
Mostly
two
all
you
the
gave
stitch
us.
ones She gave me.
She gave us this one. She gave us this one. She didn't give us this one.
No.
She didn't give us this one.
No.
You didn't give us any of these.
No, because if I
Mike got you those. Mike got us these. These are 20 by 20s I'm showing you guys. Okay. Mike got her this one.
No Stitch
No.
and Angel. No Stitch and Angel.
Then that
Then
was
Mike came.
then Mike had to have given you
Oh
those.
my God! Like I told you, Mike.
Okay. Mike got you this one. Did you give us this one? Did she give us this frog? Or was that Mike?
Oh my God, man! I think it was Mike. I'm not sure.
Did you give us the frog? Yes or no? Yeah, no, yes or no frog. I know Mike gave you this one.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I don't remember. Oh my
Okay,
God.
this Phoenix, she gave you.
Yeah, she gave me the.
She gave you the Phoenix.
No frog.
No frog. Okay. All right. So you gave us this one, right? The 20 by
I
20.
think so.
She gave you this one.
Ask her.
All right, hold on. Yes or no, Phoenix, Cassie? We need to be writing this shit down.
She said yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes on the Angel. Yes, Angel or no Angel? I know she gave us that one,
Yeah, she gave it to me.
but you let me do it.
Yeah.
No, you did this one.
No, you didn't.
Did I really? Oh yeah, I did.
I could
Yes.
see.
Oh, did she say yes? See, that's what I'm saying though. Yes, Phoenix. Okay. I know you gave us this one. Mike got you that one.
Yeah,
Oh, this one.
Mike did that.
And these are all done, guys. If you are interested, hit me up on email. Rocky Top, what's up, bud? If you want any, just hit me up on email. It's in my about
Okay,
section.
She gave me the Angel to do, so
So that was the Angel.
yeah.
Okay, Mike got you this
I
one.
hope you're keeping track of this one, Cassie.
Okay, who gave you the horses?
Oh, he did.
Okay, Mike gave us the horses. And there was
Okay,
somebody
give me
that
the
wanted horses. There was somebody a couple weeks ago in my chat that wanted horse one. We told them that we had it, but we didn't have it done, but we forgot who the hell it was. So if you're in the chat, if you wanted this, we have it done for you. Let me know and email me. She gave us this one.
Yes.
She gave us
I
this
know
one.
it
I know
was
you
her.
gave us this one, Cassie. Yes or no to headphone?
It was her.
She gave you this one? Or no? Mike
No,
did.
that's when no.
Mike did.
No,
I don't know where you screwed it up. I don't think you screwed it up. I'm still trying to sell
I
it.
did screw it up.
2 more horses right here.
Not sure.
Cassie, I know Cassie, you gave us this one, right?
Yeah, I did that one.
That's what I need. That's what I'm going to start doing next time I freaking go through these. The turtle mic got you.
See, like I said,
Yes, headphone. Just what the fuck? Hold on. Let's go through this shit one more time. One more motherfucking time. All
Keep
right.
track of this.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna write. Okay.
Write it
Let
on
me
a
get my
paper or
marker. Hold
something.
on. No. I'm getting a marker and putting her name on it. Okay. Let's go through this again. Who gave you this one? Who gave us this one?
I think it was Mike.
Okay. I'm gonna just put the names on Cassie. Just put the names
Yeah.
on Cassie. That's all I'm gonna do.
Cassie was on that one. I know that for sure.
Okay, Cassie was on this one? Okay. All right, Cassie, we're going to have to do this over. I apologize. I'm going to put Cassie's name on the front of it. Cassie on the front. Oh, no, I didn't need it on the... No.
You make up your
No,
mind.
because if somebody buys it, I don't want them to see her name. Okay. Just got her name on the back. Okay. Sorry, Cassie, we have to go through this shit again. I'm sorry. All right, let's do it
She's
over.
the only one that's keeping track of it.
No, I'm keeping track of it now. Okay. She said,
I thought it was her.
no
that
one
gave
stitch,
me-
she said, right?
No stitches.
She said no stitches? Okay. She said no stitches. Okay.
But I thought she.
I
was
know
the one
she
that
gave us this one, but these are already sold. So, actually, I need to write it down. Fuck it. I'm gonna write it down.
Duh.
I'm gonna write it down. Where is my paper? I'm just gonna write it down.
Yes.
I'm just gonna write this shit
Write
down.
them down.
Just gonna write it down on a piece of paper, Cassie.
That's
Just gonna
probably
write
what
this
she
shit up.
did.
Better to write it on a piece of paper. All right. What is this? What would you call this one?
I did that one.
What would you call it, though?
I don't freaking know. A ball and a
Guys,
flip.
tell me what would you call this? What would you call this picture right here? What would you call this? I'm gonna put
You
side.
see it now? Look. Death trap. That's what. Devil lips. Oh yeah, devil lips. Jason. Devil lips.
DEV.
IL. Lips.
Our sweet death trap. Devil lips. Our sweet death trap. All right, that's Cassie. Okay, Cassie.
Look.
No. Papa Smurf. This is Cassie. This is
Look.
the Eagle Truck. Yeah, see it. Stop rubbing it. It's just gonna
No,
get
I
worse.
had to put this on it.
Eagle Truck.
I got
That's Cassie. This is you, Cassie, right? I'm still going to put your name on the back, though. Put it up here if he, so when he cuts it off, he could, Cassie. Okay, what do we call this one? What do we call this one, guys? What do you want to call this one? What should I call this one?
where?
It's the Eagles on the
I
truck.
don't know.
I'm asking them. Well, everybody, actually. Oops. What's up,
Freedom
Bo?
Rider.
Freedom Rider. That's pretty good. All right, what's that? What size was it? Can you-
20 by 20 for the Freedom Rider.
Oh, 20 by 20? Okay.
I can't wake you up. Go back to sleep. please.
All right, there's, what would you would call this one then?
What? Oh, the
The love truck?
love truck.
Let's see what they say. That one's from Cassie, no? No, this one wasn't from Cassie. Okay, so I'm gonna put a name on this.
No.
This
Let's see
wasn't
what
this
I
wasn't
have
from
over
Cassie
here.
either, right?
What? No.
Oh, that one wasn't her. Was this her? What did she say? This one was her? Was the frog you?
No.
Oh no, she said no frog. No, that one.
I'm not sure.
She said yes to the Phoenix.
Yeah, this is Phoenix.
Oh, the truck of hearts. There you go. Hold on, wait. What was that? What size was that one? The 20 by 20?
Yeah. See, I think
That's
mostly now I don't have. Oh, wait a minute. She gave me the angel to do. But this one's mine. Look. Look at this.
Shout out to the 9 people in the chat. Appreciate you guys.
Look, she gave me this one. I remember.
Oh, I thought you were gonna let me do it.
No, heck no, I ain't letting you do the angel.
You said you were gonna let me do it, and then you changed
No.
your mind.
Nope, I ain't letting you do this angel. This mine.
Okay.
She told me for me to do
How
it.
about this one? She said,
See all these I don't remember.
"Oh, hey, put it in the group chat. What your name is? What's up, Lisa? How you doing, sweetie? She said the Phoenix was hers, right?
Yes.
How do you spell Phoenix? Okay, hold on. How you been doing, Lisa?
Mike got me this because it has love, faith, and hope on it. So he got me that.
Oh. That's a 20 by 20. Should we call that one? How do you spell Phoenix?
Pheonix.
Okay. The angel was hers?
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, Cassie, one more time. What's up, Stephanie A? Oh, hey, Ernie's not going to be live. You guys know it's the weekend. I'm just here to stay live as long as I can with you guys and finish up some diamond art. But I'm going to show you guys the one. I'm doing this with Cassie. This was yours, yes or no, Angel? I can't remember. Can't remember if she said yes or no.
Mike is the one that got me all these.
Yeah. No.
Except for this one. I don't know. With the lines, nope. You didn't give me them either. This is the only one that
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm not remembering.
Oh, good to hear that, Lisa. Man, that sucks. Pneumonia and fucking that COVID shit, man. Yes or no, Cass? Are you still? Oh, yes, Angel. Okay, she said yes, Angel. Okay, thank you. I saw it. I saw the
These are
comment.
ones I don't remember.
Cassie. Okay, I got that one. That is the
This one.
Angel.
It's from
20 by 20. Oops. Oh.
This one that you lost the freaking diamonds with. That was from her. The eagle one.
You sure they're the first 5? Oh, yeah, that's too blurry. I wasn't going to.
I could see it. It's just that you gotta find the rest of the freaking
Okay, that was from Cassie. This was from Cassie.
find the rest of these diamonds.
When we clean up the rest of the room. I know this was from Cassie. This is a 20 by 20. What would we call that?
What? Phoenix. That's
That's a 20 by
I
20.
don't know, sunrise.
No, that's looks like the Northern Star
I don't
or the
know.
Northern Lights, but
Ask her.
okay. What would you guys name this right here? What would you guys call this right here? Thank you all for the 10 likes. I appreciate it, guys. I don't even know what. These are already done, guys. The ones I'm showing you guys now are the ones they're already done.
Plus over there too, those ones. I know she gave you those ones right there.
Night skies, northern lights, mystical twilight. Oh my God, babe.
Uh-huh. Pick which one. Night
They're all
Night
good.
skies. Night skies. Go with what she said.
Okay.
Because she's the one that gave it to you to do.
I wish I could put all 3 names.
And the Jesus one that's out there that my mom, that you did for my mom.
Okay, this one. No, that's
No,
my.
that's my name.
Who was this one?
The horses.
Cassie?
Nope.
Cassie, horses
No.
weren't yours, right? No?
No.
Okay, no. This one,
I
no.
remember that.
Okay, this one, yes. What should we call this one? This one's Cassie, I know.
Musical headphones. And she didn't get the turtle one either.
20 by 20.
See, she said no horses.
No horses, I got you. She didn't give you
And
that
not
one.
that one either.
She didn't give you that one.
And
Did she give us this
I
one?
don't remember if she did or didn't.
Did you give us this one, Cassie? We can't remember. It's a 20 by 30. I can't
I don't
remember if you
think
gave
so,
us that
but-
one. I'm not for sure. That's why I'm asking, because I don't know. Because if it wasn't you, it had to have been Mike.
No.
Man, this fucking girl, I'm getting ready to block this girl.
Oh. Who is it?
Look on your phone. On Messenger. You don't remember? I'm not going to put a name on it, but I have to check with Mike. Okay. This one's already sold. You said no, right, to this one? No, Mike gave me this one, right?
I don't remember.
I don't
think so.
I don't remember. I'm waiting for Cassie to respond. Okay. There's those. I know Cassie gave me that one. That one's sold already. Papa Smart. You wanted me to go live last night. I wouldn't go live. I didn't go live. Now I'm live tonight. You're not here. No. Okay. All right. Cool. Thanks. Okay. So there's those smaller ones. Okay. I know you gave me this one, Cassie, right?
Yes.
I know
That's
you gave me
Spider-Man.
this one. You gave me this one, right?
I know that's Spider-Man.
I know she gave me that one, so that's automatic. She gave me this one. That's like 30 by 40, right? 30 by 40, yes. Shit. 30 by 40. $35 40 Spider-Man. You gave me this one. What should we call this one, guys? Hold on. What was that? 30 by 30, right?
Mostly all these now that you got right here
30 by 30. Yeah.
from her.
30 by 30. 30 by 30. What should we call this one, guys? I do not know even what to call this one. What should we call this one right here? It's got a wolf, an eagle, and a truck on it. Semi-Ernie, Eagle Scratcher, a scratching wolf. Sorry to say it, Wolf. I know you're listening. Yeah, this is from Cassie, I'm pretty sure.
Wait a minute, don't put her name on it yet.
Yeah, it's from her. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty positive this one's from her. Did you check the phone?
Yeah, it's
It's your prayer circle. Spirited friend. Okay, got you, Mike. There you go. That's a good
okay,
name
she
for
got
that one.
one.
All right, I went with Mike. And did you give us this one too, right?
I think Mike did. See, like I said, I don't remember.
Did you give us this one, Cassie? I gotta know. Because if you tell us no, then I don't gotta ask Mike. If she tells us no, I don't gotta ask Mike. I know it's it.
Yes, on what Wolf said.
Yes, spirited friends. Gotcha. I put it on there already. This one I don't think she did, but I want to make sure.
Yes, on New York City one.
On the New York City one,
That
is
one.
what
That
one?
one. That's the.
This
That's
is the Statue of Liberty.
Yes.
Okay.
God, we need to start writing our names down on these.
That's what I'm gonna start doing from now on. Yeah. This is the Statue of Liberty one. I didn't like this color in this one because they made her way too damn dark, man, and they made her arm dark. And they put the darker color in here inside the freaking flag. That was from Cassie. What should we name this one? Liberty?
She said yes on New York City, so
I'm gonna name that one Liberty. That's a 30 by 40.
rest of these Mike got me, and that except for that one that you gave me.
Liberty, okay. She gave us this one.
Yes,
You gave us this one, right?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm just gonna put that as Jesus. You gave us this one. Refresh my memory, if I'm not mistaken, you did.
God,
This one that got 30,
refresh mine.
34 colors in it, man. Where do you guys see 34 colors in this diamond art? Do you guys see 34 colors anywhere in this diamond art? Because I don't.
No,
No. Did who get? Oh, Mike
Mike.
did. Mike did. Okay.
it's mostly all the spiritual ones he got.
I know she gave me this one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one too.
I know she gave me Ozzy. This is a 30 by. What was this one again? Shit, did I put it on there? I didn't even put it on there. 30 by 30 Jesus.
That Mike got.
I'm not doing his yet.
Well, you're just doing it.
Okay.
She said no on spiritual. On Jesus.
Okay. Then it was Mike. You gave me the Ozzy. No? Who gave me the Ozzy then? Say no Ozzy, please, so I know this is the one that you're talking about. Please. Shout out to the 10 people in the chat. Appreciate you guys.
I thought it was her.
Guess not. No Ozzy. Because it had to have been Mike. It had to have been. Okay, I know this one for sure you gave me. I know this one for sure you gave me. Yes. What should I call this one, guys? Yeah, she gave me that one and that one over there. What should we call this one? This is a 30 by 30? Is this a 30 by 30 right here? This is a 30 by 40. Is that a 30 by 40? Yes, that's a 30 by 40. This one's a...
she don't remember that one. But Jason does.
Yeah, this you gave us this one because you gave me the other long one, remember? This one has Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Jason, and Chucky, and the other one has Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Jason, and Scream. Halloween Tales on this one? Alright. That's a 30 by 40. 30 by 40. By 40.
We're past Friday the 13th now, thank God.
Thanks. Friday the 13th. Come on now. I picked the first one you said, Halloween Tales. Because they weren't they all Halloween movies?
Yes.
Chucky
Yeah.
was the only one that was not a Halloween movie.
Pretty soon they'll be coming on TV.
Okay, she gave us this one. Cassie gave us this one. I know for sure.
Yeah.
Cassie gave us this one. Right? Austin Garrett, what's up, Austin? You gave us this one, right?
I'm not sure.
We'll put that one in Jesus' Angel.
That's mine.
Yeah, but I can't remember if Cassie gave this one. She said that's right on the
Yeah.
on these ones.
No. Mike.
No, Mike did. Okay, Mike got you that one. She got you this one because this was the first one that you did.
Yeah. And the other thing that she got me is over there. My
Okay,
mom's
this is
got it.
a
It's
30
hanging
by
on the
30.
wall.
It's Cassie.
And the one she got me was the one with
Cassie.
the, like the
What should we name this one, Cassie? Hearts? Hearts?
No.
What should we name it?
No,
Roses?
it's
It's heart.
it's a
It's a dream catcher. I'm gonna name
Yeah.
it dream catcher. 30 by 30. 30 by 30.
it's like heart feather dream catcher.
That's from Cassie, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the one that's in there and that, the little one that's hanging up in there for both sides, she gave me them. She gave me that one.
Right. She gave us this one too.
Winnie the Pooh?
Yep.
Yeah.
You gave us Winnie the Pooh,
Yes.
right? I know that for a fact. That's Cassie. That's a 30 by 30.
Oh yeah, and she gave me those
It's a 30
what are
by
those cup holder
30,
things,
30 by 30 poo.
cup holder things. Yep, see, she remembers it.
Okay. She gave us this one.
Yes.
She gave us this one. I know you gave us this one. That 30 by 32? Yep. Okay, Pooh Bear number 2. This is number 2. I know.
See?
Yes, okay. Okay. And then who gave us this?
Mike.
Mike gave us this one.
Mike made, yeah, because
Mike gave us this one.
you said you were gonna do for my mom.
Yes.
Which I think.
But if we sell this, the money goes to her.
Yeah.
All the money goes to her. Okay, so there's all that, guys. All right, there's that. If you guys are interested in any, let me know. Get a hold of me through email, and we can talk. I don't probably want to from the studio on the chat.
I know you did.
I knew I saw something.
I remember the butterflies because
Okay,
she gave me them.
all right, let's go back through these ones again. Let's go back through these again. Sorry, guys. Shout out to the 12 people in chat. Appreciate you guys tonight. I'm going to stay as long as my eyes will let me. All right, let's do this. So you guys have something. We have something to listen to.
And the Jesus one that's in there.
This is a LibriVox
She gave it.
recording. All LibriVox recordings.
Why did it
are public
reset?
domain.
Oh, well,
For
I'm gonna have to
more
listen to chapter
information
6 again,
or
'cause I don't remember
to
to-
visit
It's not
LibriVox.org.
fucking
The
listen
Jesus
to
one
it.
that's in there in the living room.
Roberts.
Okay, I know
Yeah,
these
but-
two.
By
I
James
know these
Abbott.
two came from
Chapter
Cassie.
6.
I'm just gonna mark it on the
Cleopatra
outside
and
again.
Caesar.
From Cassie.
Cleopatra's perplexity. She resolves to go to Alexandria. Cleopatra's
What did I
message
do
to
with the
Caesar.
marker now?
Caesar's reply. Apollodorus' stratagem. Cleopatra and Caesar. First impressions. Caesar's attachment. Caesar's wife. His fondness for Cleopatra.
Those are the
Cleopatra's
two big
foes.
truck ones. I know they
She
came from
causes
Cassie, so I'm
Caesar.
just gonna put a name
Caesar's
on it.
pretensions. He sends for Ptolemy.
See, I put your name on those, Cassie.
His complaints against
I know those
Caesar.
are yours.
Great
Definitely, I know those are yours.
Excitement of the populace. Caesar's forces. Ptolemy made
I didn't
prisoner.
get none of these small ones
Caesar's
from
address
her.
to the people.
I didn't get these praying hands from her.
The mob dispersed. Caesar
No,
convened
that came
an
from
assembly.
All these came
Caesar's
from mine.
decision.
This one
Satisfaction
came
of the
from her.
assembly. Festivals
Yeah.
and rejoicings.
Of course,
Pothinus
that
and
little one
Achilles.
did.
What should we call this one,
Pothinus
guys?
and Achilles. Escape of
You
Achilles.
don't even want to know.
March of the Egyptian army.
How is Rocky Top? How is work?
Murder
tonight?
of the messengers. Intentions of Achilles. Cold-blooded assassination. Advance of Achilles. Caesar's arrangements for defense.
I know she gave us that
Cleopatra
one.
and Ptolemy. Double dealing of Pothinus. He is detected. Pothinus beheaded. Arsinoe and Ganymede.
Ah,
Flight
damn,
of
dude. So you're not at
Arsinoe.
work or no?
Proclaimed queen by the army.
Weed lips.
Complexity of young Ptolemy. In the meantime,
Weed lips.
while
I got you,
events
Cassie.
related
That's what
in the
that was
last
gonna be.
chapter were taking place at Alexandria.
What was that size? Is that one? 20 by
Weed lips.
Quite
20 by
uncertain
20.
20 by 25.
what it was best for her to do. She wished to be at Alexandria. She knew very well that Caesar's power in controlling the course of affairs in Egypt would necessarily be supreme. She was, of course, very earnest in her desire to be able to present her cause before him. As it was, Ptolemy and Pothinus were in communication with the arbiter, and, for aught she knew,
What'd she
assiduously
say?
cultivating his favor. While she was far away, her cause unheard,
Oh, I understand that, bro.
and perhaps even her existence forgotten. Of course, under such circumstances, she was very earnest to get to Alexandria. But how to accomplish this purpose was a source of great perplexity. She could not march thither at the head of an army, for the army
Okay, she didn't get us this
strongly
one.
entrenched at
No.
Pelusium,
She
and
didn't get us
essentially
this
barred the
one.
way. She could not attempt to pass alone, or with few
Mike
attendants.
got
Okay, she got us the Spider-Man
Mike
one.
got me that guitar
Occupied
one.
with garrisons and
This is the
officers
30 by
under the
40.
orders of Pothinus, and she would be certainly
Mostly all the
intercepted.
Spider-Man one came
She had
from
no
her.
fleet, and
Yeah,
could
this
not
one came from
therefore
her.
make the passage by sea. Besides, even if she could by any means reach the gates of Alexandria, how was she to pass safely through the streets of the city to the palace where Caesar resided, since the city, except in Caesar's quarters, was wholly in the hands of Pothinus's government? The difficulties in the way of accomplishing her object seemed thus almost insurmountable.
That one I know
She
she
was,
gave us.
however, resolved to make the attempt. She sent a message to Caesar asking.
Oh, I totally
him to
understand
appear
that, bro. I
before
totally
her
understand that,
cause.
dude.
Caesar
didn't get us
replied,
this one.
urging her by all means to come.
Did she get say she got us this one? No, right? Mike got us
No.
this
number
one.
of attendants
Mike, oh,
I
that's
got you that.
Oh, she got me that one. I didn't see it was the Twin Towers. My bad.
The man
Yeah, she got me this one.
relied in this hazardous
I thought
expedition
if I could run
was a
it.
domestic named Apollodorus. She had, however, some other attendants besides.
Okay, you got me that.
When
I
the
ain't gotta
party
worry about
reached
that.
Alexandria,
Okay,
they
this
waited
one was
until
from
night,
her?
then advanced to the foot of the Charleston Citadel.
Oh no, that
Here,
was from Mike.
Apollodorus
Yep.
rolled the cloth up
That was
with
from
a piece
Mike.
of carpeting and covered
I didn't
the whole
realize
package with
that
a
was
cloth.
from Mike.
He tied it with a thong
Was
so
this
as to
one
give
her?
it the appearance of a bale of ordinary merchandise. And then throwing
She
the
said
load
no
across his
dragon,
shoulder, he
You
advanced
said no to this one or yes, Cassie?
Cleopatra
I think
was at
Mike
this
did.
time about 21 years of age. but
What's
she
up,
was
Florida
of
Clay
slender
Mustang?
and graceful form, and
You
the
slept an
woman
hour.
was
See?
quite
You slept a
friendly, not
fucking
very
hour already.
Apollodorus came to the gates of
Dude,
the
you
palace
slept the whole time I was in here. It's only been on for an hour and 6 minutes,
What it
ass.
was that
No,
he
I'm
was
just
carrying.
kidding. I'm
He
just
said
kidding.
that it was a present for Caesar. So they allowed him to
I
pass.
can't remember yes or
and
no to the
reported that
dragon.
his package in
No.
safely.
Yes,
When it was
dragon.
unrolled and
Okay.
Cleopatra came out to view,
Never mind
Caesar
on
was
that.
perfectly charmed with the spectacle. In fact,
Oh.
the various conflicting emotions which she could not but feel under such circumstances as these
Oh.
imparted a double interest to her beautiful and expressive
That one
face.
came from her.
and to her
I think
naturally
this one came
bewitching
from her
manners.
too.
She was excited by the adventure through which she
Yes,
had
this
passed,
one?
and yet pleased with her narrow escape from its dangers. The curiosity and interest.
What the
which
hell
she
was that
felt
one that
on
I
the
just
one hand
read from-
in
that
respect
was
to a
here?
great
The
personage
dragon.
in whose presence
The
she
dragon. I
had been
put
thus
dragon on
strangely
it.
ushered.
Was it
was
30
very
by
strong.
40?
But then, on the
What the
other
fuck?
hand,
Now I'm
it was
fucked up.
chastened and subdued by that feeling of timidity which, in new and unexpected situations like these, and under a consciousness of being the
Was that a
object
30
of
by
eager
40 the
observation
dragon?
to the other
No, it's
sex,
a dragon.
is
What the fuck was the
inseparable
30 by
from
40
nature.
then?
The conversation
Oh my
which
God.
she
Shit.
had held with Cleopatra deepened the impression
Pardon
which her
me?
first appearance had made upon
Was
him.
Spider-Man 30 by
Her
40?
intelligence and
Yes.
He said
animation,
yes,
the
world.
originality of her ideas, and the point and pertinency of her mode of expressing them made her, independently of her personal charms, an exceedingly
What'd she say?
entertaining
Yes,
and agreeable
world.
companion.
World what?
She, in
This
fact,
one?
completely won the great conqueror's heart.
I guess.
And,
This
with
one?
a strong attachment to her which he immediately
Okay.
formed, he became fully
Yes, she
disqualified
gave me
to
that.
act impartially between her and her brother in regard to their respective rights to the crown. We call Ptolemy Cleopatra's
That's
brother.
what she calls it.
Okay, we'll call it a world then. We'll call it a world.
Still, it seems only 10 or 12 years of age at the time of
We'll call it what you called it.
expulsion from Alexandria. The marriage had been probably
This is a 30 by
regarded thus
30.
far only as a mere matter of form. Caesar was now about 52. He had a wife, named Calpurnia, to whom he had been married about 10 years. She was living at this time in an unostentatious and quiet manner at Rome. She was a lady of an amiable and gentle character, devotedly attached to her husband, patient and forbearing in respect to his faults, and often anxious and unhappy at the thought of the difficulties and dangers in which his ardent and
I know she gave us one
so
of that
often
for my
involved
mom.
him.
It was the black and white
Caesar
one.
Okay,
immediately
that-
began to
there's
take
that.
great interest in Cleopatra's cause.
That.
He treated her personally with the fondest attention, and it
She
was
said, "Be
impossible
right
for him
back,
not to
grabbing more
reciprocate
wax."
to some degree the kind feeling with which he regarded her.
Alright,
It was, in
I know
fact,
she gave us
something
this one.
altogether new to her to have
what
a
should we call this one, guys?
espousing her cause.
Bring the names in. I need to know the names. What would we
In every
name
way
this one?
for her happiness.
This came from Cassie because it's got
Father
the
had
sticker
all his
on it.
life neglected her. Her brother, of years and understanding, totally inferior
She
to
should have
hers,
put stickers
whom
on
she had
it so
been
that way
compelled to
we
make her
would know.
husband, had been her mortal
That's
enemy.
why I'm doing this now.
It is true
Oh
that,
fuck, there's the
depriving her of her
dragon.
inheritance and expelling her
She
from
said
her
yes to the dragon?
had
Yes.
been only
Okay, the
tool and
dragon was
instrument of more
30
designing
by
men.
30, and I haven't wrote it down yet.
This, however, far from improving the point of view from
This
which
one,
she
what,
regarded him,
what should we call
made
this
him
one?
appear not only hateful but contemptible too. All the officers of government, also in the Alexandrian court, had turned against her.
It says, I'm
because they
blunt
had
because
supposed that they
God
could control
rolls
her
me
brother
that
more
way.
easily if she were away. Thus, she had always been
I think this
surrounded
one
by
gonna be the
some
controversial
mercenary and
one.
implacable foes. Now, for the
Name
first
it
time,
blunt.
she seemed to
Look
have
at
a
this
friend.
is 30 by
The
30.
protector had suddenly arisen to support and
The
defend
power
Thirty by
of
40.
He
green.
was a very alluring
He,
person and
he
man,
said the
of
power
a very
of
noble
green.
and generous spirit, and of the very highest station. He loved her.
Well,
and
my
she
mom
could not
goes to
refrain
church
from loving him
tonight.
in return.
Then we
She
go
committed her
tomorrow.
cause entirely into his hands, confided to him all her interests, and gave herself
She's
up
happy to
wholly
have
his
that
power.
TV, but boy,
Nor was the unbounded
the other one is
confidence which
obsolete.
she reposed
Yeah.
in him undeserved.
I told us you could have
Provided
to do that.
to his
I told you guys that
majesty
yesterday.
throne.
You are gonna have to eventually end up fucking giving this fucking buying a new TV.
That or call
I told her
it
that.
taking a trip. Or that or call it taking
He
a
did not,
trip.
however, on this account.
I called it already Power of Green.
Self-confidence.
And she gave us this one, right?
But he commenced immediately the work of securing Cleopatra's
Oh.
restoration.
Did you give us this one? I can't remember. The Statue of Liberty. You give us this one, yes or no, to the
I
Liberty?
think that was mine.
In a country where he had accidentally landed and found rival
He's
claims
coming up with
for his
names.
succession.
Or the power of
Totally
verb.
destitute of the means of enforcing his superiority, which he fully assumed. Marks
I
the
don't
immense
remember.
ascendancy which the Roman
She
power
went
had
to go
attained
get
in
more
his time
raps.
in the
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
estimation of mankind and
Okay,
in
she gave us
size,
that one. So
especially
okay.
characteristic
That
of the
one
genius and
is-
disposition of Caesar. Very soon after Cleopatra had come to him,
Cassie,
Caesar
what should we
sent to
call
him
this one?
Ptolemy and urged him
Cassie, what's your
Liberty number 2. Liberty number 2. That's it.
Ptolemy
Liberty
was
number 2.
beginning now to attain an age at which he might
Okay,
be
there's
supposed
that
to have some
one.
opinion of his own on such a question.
You got
He
this one
declared
right here.
himself utterly opposed
What
to
was
any
this? What, a
such
city about
design.
40?
In the course of the conversation, he learned that Cleopatra had arrived at Alexandria and that she was then concealed in Caesar's palace. This intelligence awakened in his mind the greatest excitement and indignation. He went away from Caesar's palace in a rage. He tore the diadem which he was
Okay,
accustomed
this
to
is
wear in the
a
streets
city
from
about
his head,
40.
threw it down, and trampled it under his feet. He declared to the people that he was betrayed
And whatever
displayed
we
the
make
most
off
violent
those beads and
indications
that,
of
whenever
vexation
we
and
start
chagrin.
them.
Yeah, whenever we start them,
Chief
yeah.
subject of his
For sure.
Okay, I gotta find out what the fucking diamonds are for this one.
Really?
Yeah, that's the Spider-Man that I didn't finish that we took by Cassie.
And you gotta remember the freaking
Look.
diamond for that one too.
This is the one that I didn't finish when we went by Cassie.
Oh my God. Yeah, and Cassie is one that gave me that one.
I know.
That what really awakened
Better
his
find those
jealousy and anger
diamonds.
was fear of
I don't remember.
influence
Or I'll
and
have to
power
look at
which
the,
Cleopatra was likely
the
to
number.
obtain through the agency of so distinguished a protector, rather than any other consequences of his friendship or any real considerations. of
Oh, the
delicacy
square
or
ones.
respect his sister's
Oh.
good name or his own marital honor. However, this may
With
be,
the square,
Ptolemy,
not
together
square
with
diamonds.
Philippics and Achillas,
She's doing. She does it square by square. Remember? You don't do the square one all the time.
Between Cleopatra and Caesar succeeded in producing a very general and violent tumult throughout the city. The populace
square
were
one is
aroused
the
and
red-
began
that
to
one,
assemble
Matt.
in great crowds,
I did.
full of indignation and anger.
With the bears on
Some
it.
knew the facts and acted under
fucking
something
name
like
for
an
the new one.
understanding of the cause of their anger. Others only knew that the aim of this sudden outbreak was to assault the
All right, there we go. Okay, we're done, Cass, for tonight.
known or unknown, to join in any deeds of
We're
violence
done for the night.
against
I
these
finished it up.
intruders. There were others
We're done.
still, and these probably
Thank you for the help.
far
I
larger
appreciate it.
portion, who knew nothing and
Boy, do we
understood
need to
nothing,
get that
but there was
motherfucker
to be
done.
a tumult and a
Oh, you
riot
still got
in and around
these.
the palace
Oh, yeah, I know. I
as
gotta
they
put them
were
back.
according
I already did those.
eager to be there. Ptolemy and his
Those are the
officers
ones all
had
Mike
no
did,
large body of
remember?
troops in Alexandria, for the events which had thus far occurred since Caesar's
So
arrival
back up to how
had
many?
succeeded each other so
I don't
rapidly
know.
that a very
1,
short
2,
time
3,
had yet
4, 5,
elapsed.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
The main force,
14,
therefore,
15,
by which
16,
Caesar was now attacked
18, 19,
consisted of the population of the
20.
city, headed perhaps by the few guards.
I'm not worried about that until I find the
I
diamond.
ain't worried about the other one too.
Caesar,
Till we
on his
find the
part,
diamonds,
yeah.
had a small
Till
portion
we
of his
find the
forces
diamonds
at
for
the
him.
palace where he was attacked. The rest were scattered about the city.
This one I'm doing now,
Yeah, Marcus
this
has
Top Gun, after I get done, there's going to be 11,036 diamonds put on this one.
Attachment of his soldiers,
And Mike is the one
orders
that
to
got you
seize
that one.
Ptolemy
Mike's the one that
and
got me
bring
that
him
one.
prisoner. Soldiers trained, disciplined, and armed as the Roman veterans.
All right, let's go back to doing diamond art. What's the marker?
Down there.
Under Caesar's
Where?
personal
Oh.
command,
Why
to
you
accomplish
ready for?
almost any
I put
undertaking
it on those
against the
stickers
mere
and
populace. However,
what I have to
numerous
do.
or
Want a black one?
furiously
No, I
excited
want the
they might
blue
be.
one.
The
Well, because
soldiers
it
sat
doesn't-
down, seized Ptolemy, and
I want
brought
the
him in.
blue one.
I bought them for
The
me.
populace were at first astounded at the daring presumption of
Puppy.
this deed,
I do.
then exasperated at the indignity of it, considered as a violation of the person of their sovereign. The tumult would have greatly increased had it not been that Caesar, who had now attained all his ends in thus having brought
Cassie gave me some
Cleopatra
clips.
and
Cassie gave me these. See, I got shit laying
And I
around.
still
in it.
got mine that I didn't break.
Ptolemy had sent
Yeah, I
him to
broke
the window
about
of
7
the
of them.
or if some
By
might have
accident.
broken
All
portion
of
of his palace.
I broke them by
So high
accident,
that
though.
missiles from the mob below could not reach him, and began to make signals expressive of his wish to address them.
And she
When
got
silence
she
was
gave
obtained,
us
Made
the
this well calculated to
diamonds
quiet the
if
excitement.
we need
He
any.
told them that he did not pretend to any right to judge
Now that you
between
said that.
Cleopatra and Ptolemy as their superior.
Look at all these extra diamonds. Whoa. Look at all these bag of extra diamonds. If Cassie did not give me these,
Whose representative he
She
was.
was the without the crab.
Other than this, he claimed no jurisdiction in the case, and his
I haven't even used but one bag out of that whole entire thing, Cassie.
I didn't use none.
She gave me these. You guys don't know what rainbow looms are?
Which, if not arrested, threatened to involve the country in the most terrible calamity.
We know who gave us them.
We know who gave us these, so we ain't gotta say it.
Hello, King Crab Legs.
What's up, King Crab? What's going on, brother?
Cleopatra and Ptolemy, and he did not doubt but that they would all be satisfied with his
Remember, I still got beads.
This speech, made as it was, in the
Yeah, put
eloquent,
these down
persuasive,
here,
and yet dignified and imposing
I still got
which
beads.
Caesar's
What do you mean you
harangues
still got
during the
beads?
assembly
I still ain't
were
different.
so vague.
And I know
Produced
she's
a
the
great
one that
effect.
gave it.
Some were convinced, others were
Oh, okay.
silenced. And those whose resentment and anger were not appeased found themselves deprived of their power by the pacification of the rest.
Oh,
The mob was dispersed, and Ptolemy remained with Cleopatra in Caesar's custody. The next day, Caesar, according to his promise, convened an assembly of the principal people of Alexandria and officers of state, and then brought out Ptolemy and Cleopatra, that he might decide their cause. The original
What's
will
up, King
which
Crab? What's going on, brother? What's your
Ptolemy
question?
executed had been deposited in the public
Oh
archives
shit, I didn't
of
put this back in
Alexandria
there.
and carefully preserved there.
yeah,
An authentic copy of it had been sent to Rome.
Okay, I put it in.
Caesar caused the original will to be brought out and read to the assembly. The provisions of it were perfectly explicit and clear. It required that Cleopatra and Ptolemy should be married, and then settled the sovereign power upon them jointly as king and
Still
queen.
gotta get another friend's
It
one.
recognized the Roman Commonwealth as
Yeah, I
the
still gotta
ally
get another friend. Yeah,
And
sure.
she did give us, give you the one that had the glass on it, and
Yeah, that one, but yeah, I
So
fucking
clear
screwed
and
that one up.
explicit was this document that the simple reading of it seemed to be of itself a decision of the question.
And Joy haven't even emailed me.
Therefore, Caesar announced that
Or
in his
Cassie.
judgment, Cleopatra was entitled to share the supreme power with Ptolemy, and that it was his duty as the
Why would you say
representative of
that,
the
bro?
power and the executor of the will to protect
Why would you say
the king and
that?
the queen in their respective rights.
he's
There
probably
seemed
got
to be
somebody
nothing that
eating
could be said
dogs
against
and
his
cats
decision.
over there.
Besides
at.
Cleopatra and Ptolemy, there were two other children of Ptolemy Auletes in the royal family at this time. One was a girl named Arsinoe. The other, a boy, was, singularly enough, named like his brother Ptolemy.
That's crazy,
These
bro.
children were
I'm
quite
not in
young.
China.
Caesar thought that it would perhaps gratify the Alexandrians. and
I'm not in China, bro.
acquiesce more readily in his decision, if he were to make some royal provision for them. He
She said she
accordingly
hasn't.
proposed to assign the island of Cyprus
Leave
as a
it
realm
alone.
for them. This was
Like
literally
she
a
ain't
gift.
freaking said
Cyprus was
anything
at this time
about
a
the
Roman
cash app
possession.
either.
The whole assembly seemed satisfied with this decision, except Pothinus. He had been so determined and embittered an enemy to Cleopatra
I didn't watch it, bro.
that as he
I didn't
was
watch the
aware,
debate.
her restoration must end in his downfall and ruin.
I'm not voting for any of them.
The assembly moodily
It's gonna be fucked up either way we go.
the decision, but would
Let's not talk about that though, because I don't want to get flagged. Because last night my fucking video got flagged for I don't know why. If this one gets flagged, I know it's because of what I'm playing, the audio book that I'm playing.
Understanding between the king and the queen, and the consequent termination of the war. Such celebrations, he judged, would have great influence in removing any remaining animosities from the
Only way that I will vote for Trump is only reason why I would is because he would kick all these illegals out. He would deport them so we can get our fucking jobs back. They need to bring our jobs from China and bring them back home. Is what the fuck they need to do.
And making Ptolemy again the sole and exclusive sovereign. Pothinus represented to all who he could induce to listen to him.
That's what they really need to do. Oh my God! And I have not had this phone plugged in.
And urged them to combine with him.
20-something%. Are you kidding me?
Really nice.
Yeah.
He also
never
formed
leave
a
my
plan
phone
in
that way.
connection with Achilles for ordering the army back from Pelusium. The army consisted of 30,000 men. If that army could be brought to Alexandria and kept under Pothinus' orders, Caesar and his 3,000 Roman soldiers would be, they thought, wholly at their mercy. There was, however,
Now you
one
see the
danger
light.
to be guarded against in ordering
You
the
mean you
army
can see
back
the
from the capital, and that was
Yes,
that
you
Ptolemy,
shouldn't be able to see the
while under
damn
Caesar's
light.
influence, might open communication with the officers and so take command of its movements and thwart all the conspirators' designs. To prevent this, it was arranged between Pothinus and Achilles that the latter should make his escape
What
from
photo?
Alexandria, proceed immediately to the camp at Pelusium, resume the command of the troops there,
Do I still have the one you were? Yes, for sure. I got it.
and
The
then
King
in all his
Crab
operations,
picture.
and also
The one that he
subsequently
wanted.
on his arrival, he should obey no orders unless
Fucking
they
I'm
came
gonna go to him again.
through Pothinus himself.
King Crab.
Yes, he wanted.
Although sentinels and guards were probably stationed at the gates and
He was asking to see how much it was going to cost to send him in Alaska to Alaska.
Oh,
Remember?
yeah.
Yeah, there's that one. I got it still. Hold on, I gotta find it now. I still have it. I just saw your name on the back of it because I put its name on the back of it, so I wouldn't forget that he wanted.
But really plotting for his overthrow and obtaining all the information which his position enabled him to command, in order that he might cooperate with the army and Achilles when they should arrive.
Wasn't any of those.
All these things were done with the utmost secrecy, and so cunning and adroit were the
Oh, it was the
conspirators
Jesus one,
in
babe.
executing their plots,
It was
that
the
Caesar
damn
seems to
Jesus
have
one.
had no knowledge of the measures which his enemies were
It's in
taking,
there
until
somewhere.
he suddenly heard
Yeah, it was the Jesus one you wanted.
was approaching the city,
Watch out.
at least 20,000
On the
strong.
bottom.
In the meantime,
Get up.
however,
Oh,
the forces which he had sent for from Syria had not arrived, and no alternative was left but
Well,
to
he
defend
wanted
the
this
capital
one.
and himself as well as he could with the
He wanted
very
this
small
one.
force
Yes.
which he had at his
And the
his
money
name-
would go to my mom.
Yeah, and her money could go to her mom. Yes, this one because
By
I.
the effective
Oh,
orders
you got my fucking camera turned around.
to forbid the approach of the army.
Hold on, man. I got
Two
you.
officers were accordingly entrusted with these orders and sent out to communicate them to Achilles. The names of these officers.
You wanted this one? Yes, I still have it, bro. Your name's on the back of it. Look, I wrote your name on the back of it, so I didn't forget.
The authority and consequence of a sovereign king rose in those ancient days in the minds of men. That Achilles, at the moment when these men made their appearance in the
Yeah, I still got it.
bearing evidently some command.
I'm not gonna
He
sell
got
it.
rid of it.
considered it
I'm not gonna get rid of any of the ones that anybody wanted,
rather than to
I put
allow
your
the order
name
to
on
be
it,
delivered and then take the
and I
responsibility.
won't let anybody know that they're for sale because I promised them to you. I promised them to you guys that wanted them.
And then in expelling Caesar and
So yeah, I would never do that, bro. Shout out to the 11 people in chat. Appreciate it, guys.
he knew
for the
very
12
well
light.
that the king would rejoice in the result and would overlook all irregularities on his part in the means by which he had accomplished it, short of absolute disobedience of a known command. Whatever might be the commands that these messengers were bringing,
I'm not how people are portraying me to be.
that was originated not in Ptolemy's own free will,
Fuck that. I'm not like
they were
that.
dictated by the authority of Caesar. Still, they would be commands coming in Ptolemy's
And you
name.
can't
And
forget
the
those
universal
that are in
experience of
that,
officers serving under the military despots of those ancient
and
days
here in the
showed that
frames and that.
rather than to
they're
take the
really
responsibility
high.
of
Cassie, 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 Cassie.
disobeying the
All
law,
those ones are Cassie.
it was safer to avoid receiving it by murdering the messengers. Achilles therefore directed the officers to be seized and slain. They were accordingly taken off and speared by the soldiers, and then the bodies were borne away.
Yeah, we can do that then. If you got cash out, what did we agree on? Because I don't even think we agreed on any price yet, did we?
Perhaps something like a sentiment of
I don't think we
compassion
agreed on a
was
price yet.
At any rate, though both the men were
We didn't agree on a price, did we?
the other lived and recovered. Achilles continued to advance toward the city. Caesar, finding
Yeah, I know, Cassie. I need to do the same thing.
becoming very serious in its character.
I need to do the same thing for real. But this is the one I'm working on now. Her cousin got me this one.
Arrangements possible under the circumstances of the case to defend himself there. His numbers were altogether too small to defend the whole city against the overwhelming force which was advancing to assail it.
But if you want to get a hold of me, King Crab,
In the palaces and in the citadel, and in such other parts of the city as it seemed practical.
I don't remember what it is either. I should have wrote it down, bro.
Streets and avenues leading
I think
to
you
the
said
city
50.
fortified the gates. Nor did he.
50 or 60. Which one did I say? I can't remember. It was one of those two.
Already in his hands to the best advantage. Neglect
I don't remember if it was.
Because we were gonna have the box for it.
Oh,
Send it
yeah,
out and then-
If you go to my about section, King Crab, my email's there, and the cash app.
During all this time, Cleopatra and Ptolemy remained in the palace with Caesar.
My cash app and my I should put my damn Venmo in there.
For defending the city from Achilles.
And the green dot.
Cleopatra, of
Oh, you
course,
can't send
was
it to
sincere
Green Dot,
in her
dummy.
husband's cooperation.
No,
But Ptolemy's adhesion to the
I have
can't say PayPal either because of you
Although
freaking think you would
situated
get
as he
card
was,
from
he
them.
was compelled to
I
seek
can send it to my
Caesar's
fucking
side.
other card like I did before.
He desired that
Oh.
Achilles should succeed, and
How you
Caesar
think
should
that money got on that card?
Pothinus was more active.
I just
though
transferred
not
it to my
less
bank.
cautious in his hostility to them. He opened secret communication with Achilles, sending him information from time to time of what took place within the walls, and of the arrangements made there for the defense of the city against him, and gave him also directions how to proceed.
I think
He
it
was
was
very
like
wary and
$55 to
sagacious in all his
$60 for
movements.
I think it was 50 without the frame.
On Caesar's side. He pretended to be very zealously employed.
It was 50 without the frame, King Crab, I think.
Where attacks were to be expected.
He was supposed to send us where to send it to.
No, he was trying to check to see how much it was going to cost with shipping to go to Alaska. Remember? He said, "Don't do nothing with it. I got to check."
We haven't yet.
Look, he hasn't either. He's got to check to see how much it's going to cost.
And having little else to do, he employed himself in watching Unix's movements and reporting them to Caesar. Caesar directed the barber to continue his observations.
Oh yeah, for sure, bro.
Suspicions were soon confirmed.
You might have a dirty camera that makes it look mad too.
Was intercepted and brought to Caesar.
Oh God,
This
dude,
furnished the
oh, there
necessary
comes the
proof of what
allergy.
they called his guilt,
I
and
got
Caesar
dry
ordered
nose.
Oh my gosh, here comes the allergy.
This circumstance
Oh,
produced
mold and
great
pollen
excitement
were
for
high as hell today.
For Pothinus had
Pollen,
been
It's,
the pollen was over 7,000.
It's past yesterday, so
His
today
execution
has
alarmed
been
a great
today.
It's moisture outside.
Though in Caesar's power,
Pollen's gonna be up in the tree because the moisture.
Among those most disturbed by these fears was a man
Like I said, these are the only two rosin pens I use. The single one, 6, 3, and 4. These are the only ones I really use. I don't really use anything else. I don't use this one. I don't use this one. I don't use this one. If you look, guys, look at all these extra pieces I got. Look at all the extra pieces I got.
By the busy preparations which were required on all hands for the impending.
Look at all the extra pieces.
Arsinoe, therefore, with her governor Ganymede, remained in the palace. Ganymede had joined Pothinus in his plots. and when
These are
Pothinus
plastic,
had
man.
he concluded that
They
it
even
was
come in
safe
plastic.
to fly. He had
Here's the
planned
metal
to
ones.
make his escape from the city.
I got metal ones,
It was
metal
very
ones,
half of his attempt, but he succeeded in a
plastic. Then I got
Arsinoe
these.
was willing to go, for she
These
was
go
very
in with the, where'd it go? Where's
He
the pen?
says he'll call his button in Florida
which seemed to
tomorrow.
form such an essential
Okay,
element in the
alright.
character of every son and daughter in the whole Ptolemaic
Look, this one goes in here.
and powerless where she was, but at the head of the army,
This go.
she might become
What the fuck?
immediately a queen. It resulted in the first instance, as she had anticipated. Achilles and his army received her with acclamations. Under Ganymede's influence, they decided that
This goes in here. I can use it this way.
endurance. Being held captive by a foreign general,
What's that
who had
for?
by chance obtained possession of the capital. And
Thank you,
thus
Tech. I appreciate it, brother.
For exercising the royal power, the crown
What's that
devolved upon Arsinoe, and they accordingly
Yeah, that part.
made her queen.
You can put the diamonds in here to
Everything
agree
was
the
now
circle.
prepared for a desperate and determined contest for the crown between Cleopatra.
This is the one Cassie never. She got for both of us, but she didn't like it, so she gave hers to me.
For her chief conquerors on the other.
It's for diamond.
The young Ptolemy, in the meantime, remained Caesar's.
Yeah, I'm almost done with it, Tex guy. That's why I wanted to come live and chill with you guys.
Scarcely knowing now what.
So how did your Friday the 13th go?
It was very
Thought I'd
difficult
ask.
to foresee whether it would be best for Cleopatra or that Arsinoe should succeed.
And then Cassie gave me this.
Chapter 6.
Cassie gave me all this extra wax.
There's even more.
She's even more than Trish got.
Nope. I gave you them already. There it is.
And then there's this wax, all the pink wax. I mean, there's pink wax in that one, but I tried to keep it away from that one. Actually, what I should do is keep it and put it in there. I should take this one out. I don't know what to do. There's more clear wax. With that. It was hot, bro.
Of course it was, Tipstick.
It was hot here too.
Oh God.
She had to go to her doctor's appointment today.
Yesterday.
You hate the pink wax. A lot of people do. And I don't know why a lot of people hate the pink wax. To me, there's nothing wrong with it. And I got all these metal ones. If you look, I'm gonna show you how many of the metal ones I got.
Okay, like back over there.
He didn't come by you, did he?
No, it's right there.
Look at all these extra pieces I got, man. I'll never have to need any more extra pieces. And this is nothing. I still got all these freaking... Here's a single plastic piece, a single one. These are all plastic pieces I'm still pulling out of here. Here's a big one, 6-1. No, this is a 8 or 9. 8 or 9, I think, for this one. All right, brother, appreciate it. Look, these are all the metal ones I got. And if it wasn't for Cassie, once again, I wouldn't have it. And then these, all the plastic ones. These are all plastic. I can't use any of these because they don't fucking fit. Oh, yeah, they do fit. What the fuck am I not using it for? Really, dude? Really, man? These ones even fit in there.
That's why she had the blue one in it.
Yeah. Now this, the rosin pen, these all came together. That one, that one, and this one. I'm still missing one. And when you said there was 6 or 5.
I think 5.
Oh no, the 6, because here's the 6th one. There's 6. There's my set. Here's my set of rosin pens that Cassie gave me. There's all my set of rosin pens, guys. There's the whole entire set that I got from Cassie. This is the best. These are the best thing to use. I did use these for like 3 to 4 months. I'll show you which ones I used. Because I still got stuff off in this one. See, you still got wax in this?
Yep.
Look, I still got wax and shit in this one. Look at all the shit that I got in this one. I'll never use these again, but I only kept a couple of them. But I've been throwing the rest of them away because none of the recent package or the diamond that I had these pink pens, did they?
What?
Which some of the recent ones that I got, it never had the pens in it, did it? It just had the wax and oh look, here's even more plastic pieces I didn't put over there. Holy shit, I forgot about these. Look, I forgot about all these guys. Look at all this. Oh my god, I forgot all about that. And I forgot about these 2 plastic pieces. 2 purple pieces. And it's all because of Cassie. Here's the blue wax. Oh, I thought that said 16. I was like, what the hell? Thank you, guys. Thank you anyway to the 10 people that are even here. I'm not gonna be, oh man, it's not gonna fit. You gonna tell me that?
What?
And then I got all these in here. I got all this stuff in here.
Fall asleep, Cassie, but don't frickin'
Do not stop right now. Stop right now and back away from the damn diamonds before you knock them on the fucking floor.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
Stop and get away from your damn diamond art right now. These are the old pens that I was using. Like with the single one and the... Put the diamond art down and step away. That's practically everything that I got, guys. Right there, that consistent deals with diamond art. That's practically everything I got because of Cassie.
Even the stuff that's in the it's in the with the yellow top on it.
Yellow top.
Right up there. It looks like a freaking,
Too late. She already fucking dropped him.
oh no.
She said too late.
Really? Oh my God,
She said too late.
Cassie.
Go to sleep, Cassie. I'm not sleepy, so. Ha ha. Now see what I get.
Uh-huh.
At least it wasn't diamonds, sucker. It was a knife. Or scissors on it. At least it wasn't diamonds. Too late. All right, I'm back. Let's do some diamond art now. Shout out to the night people in chat. She's got extra. Hey, at least you're not dropping them on carpet like I do when I drop them. You're lucky you don't have fucking carpet in your apartment. I have carpet in my room.
Yeah, we already been.
Could you imagine what that would look like if I fucking dropped this whole thing on the floor? Would you imagine what that would look like? What I've done already? Could you imagine what the hell that would look like, guys? Yeah, see, you can sweep yours. I can't. I have to vacuum mine up.
Except for one thing, our vacuum cleaner doesn't want to pick most of them up. So we gotta.
Then I gotta go around with tape around my finger and pick them up off the floor with tape.
And the hair to go with it.
That's what's gonna go with it then. All right, let's get going, guys. Let's finish most of this, man, tonight.
Today.
Today, I meant. Yeah, you're right, man. How did everybody's Friday the 13th go? I hate to say that. Poor fucking cable guy sat here for like 3-4 hours. Oh, well, you suck. If you have all that. Because I don't. I'm just kidding. I wish I had me something like that.
Can you get them on, what is it, a vacuum and a broom?
I don't know. All right, what's the name of it on Temu? Because I know that's where you got it from. Huh? Let's eject the broom. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Holy shit, really? Shout out to the 9 people. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Let's go. Is this over? Okay, this is over. Chapter 6 is over. Let's go. Chapter 7.
Chapter 7 of Cleopatra. This is a LibriVox recording.
He's
information
smiling.
or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org.
He's listening as he's whipping his ear.
Jordan. Cleopatra
Hunter,
by Jacob Atwood.
Hunter boy.
Chapter 7. The Alexandrian War. Forces of Caesar.
I love
The
my buddy.
Egyptian Army. Fugitive slaves. Dangerous situation of Caesar. Presence of Caesar. Influence of Cleopatra. First measures of Caesar. Caesar's stores. Military engines. The Mole.
Excuse me, y'all.
View of Alexandria. Necessity of taking possession of the Mole. Egyptian fleet. Caesar burns the shipping. The fort taken. Burning of Alexandria. Achilles beheaded. Plans of Ganymede. His vigorous measures. Messengers of Ganymede. Their instructions. Ganymede cuts off Caesar's supply of water. Panic of the soldiers. Caesar's wells. Arrival of the transports. The transports in distress. Lowness of the coast.
What's everybody doing this weekend, man?
Caesar successful.
Watch what?
Ganymede equips a fleet.
What sport will you be watching this weekend? Baseball,
Caesar in
football,
danger. Another victory.
college football?
The Egyptians discouraged. Secret messengers. Dissimulation.
I said take your ass to bed before you drop some more fucking diamonds on the floor.
Defeat of Ptolemy. Terror and confusion. Death of Ptolemy. Cleopatra queen.
You drop more on the floor, it's your own fucking fault.
Caesar's course.
You ass better knock on wood.
Cleopatra's son, Caesarion. Public opinion of her conduct. Caesar departs for Rome. He takes Arsinoe with him. The war which ensued as the result of the intrigues and maneuvers described in the last chapter is
She
known in the
refuses.
history of Rome and
Okay.
Julius Caesar as the
Don't tell me you drop more fucking diamonds then.
Oh yeah,
The
and he's
events
got all
which
those
occurred
bottles
during
there
the
over there
progress
in
of
those.
it, and its
plastic things, too,
termination at
remember?
last.
Oh yeah, and I got this from her too, Cassie. All this is fucking dryer sheets cut up. It stops your diamonds from sticking together.
And he forgot all those things that are over there.
Oh shit, damn, I sure the fuck did. Holy crap, I cannot forget about these. Oh, now you're, how many colors were you doing at a time before? I forgot about all this shit. Hold on. Forgot about all these.
Except for the gun.
Oh shoot, shut up about that. Except, yeah, the gun.
When he set sail from the European shores with his
I didn't get these from her, I bought these from Walmart.
It is
This goes in there.
no expectation
These are the only things she got me.
Egypt at all.
These right here. It's got 60 in each of them. And I ain't got no diamonds in them because I've been having the diamonds with the bag. Putting them back in the bag. 20? She was doing 20 colors at, get the fuck out of here. You were not doing no 20 colors at a time. She said she was doing 20 colors at a time.
To the climate of Egypt and skilled in all the modes of warfare which were suited to the character of the country. Some of them were Roman soldiers, men who had come with the army of Mark.
She gave me this one and she gave me this one. There's 120 containers right here.
Cleopatra's father.
Oh, he's wanting out. Let him up.
The throne,
Baby boy.
had been left in Egypt in Ptolemy's service when Anthony returned to Rome.
Come here, baby boy,
Some were native
Hunter.
Egyptians.
Come here, baby
There
boy.
was
Hoppity
also
hop.
in the army of
Hoppity
Achilles a large number of fugitive slaves.
Go use the bathroom, guys.
Refugees
Go use the bathroom.
had made their
Hoppity
escape
hop.
from various points along the shores of the Mediterranean at different periods and had been from time to time incorporated into the Egyptian army. These fugitives were all men of the most determined
Other side.
character.
Shout out to the night. Thank you, guys.
Also in his command,
I'm waiting for Courtney and Renee to come in. They're going to be coming in a little bit. I think they will. It's almost 3 o'clock. I've been on for already an hour and 43 minutes, 45 minutes.
Here he comes.
At the head of these troops, Achilles
Where are ya?
gradually
Come here,
advanced
baby.
to the very gates of Alexandria, invested the city on every side, and shut Caesar closely in. The danger of the situation in which Caesar was placed was extreme. caused
Come
him to
here,
succeed
buddy.
in
Come here,
extricating
my
himself from
buddy.
the most imminent perils
Hi,
that
buddy
neither
boy.
he himself nor his army seemed to have experienced any concern in
Oh,
respect
hold on.
to the result.
Hold on.
Caesar
Hold
personally
on.
felt
Oh,
a special
where you
pride
going?
and pleasure
Whoa,
in
where you
encountering the
going?
difficulties and dangers which now
Where you
beset
going,
him,
buddy?
because Cleopatra
Honor.
was with him to witness his demeanor, to
Honor.
admire his energy and courage, and to
He said,
reward
"Heck with
by
you,
her
I'm
love
gonna turn
the
my butt
efforts
around
and
and
sacrifices
not look
which he
because I
was
don't.
making
I'm
in
camera shy."
espousing her
Honor.
cause. She
Come here,
confided
buddy.
everything to him,
Oh,
but she watched all the proceedings with the most eager interest,
Hunter,
elated with
look
hope
at you
He's
being
saying I'm
shy.
king of the frickin'
and
silver.
proud of the champion who had thus volunteered
What,
to defend her.
baby?
In a word, her
What,
heart was
buddy?
full of gratitude, admiration, and love. The immediate effect, too,
Hunter.
of the emotions which she felt so strongly was greatly to heighten her natural charms. The native force
What,
and
baby?
energy of her character were
What?
softened
You want
and
mama?
subdued. Her voice, which
Okay, I'll
always
give you the
possessed
mama
a
then.
certain inexpressible charm,
Okay, go
was
by mama.
endued with a new sweetness through the
Go by
influence
mama,
of
little shit.
affection. Her countenance beamed
I know
with
Ted's
affection
sleeping in my live stream right now.
The sprightliness and vivacity of her character, which became at later periods of her life boldness and eccentricity, now being softened and restrained within proper limits by the respectful regard with which she looked upon Caesar, made her an enchanting companion. Caesar was, in fact, entirely intoxicated with the fascinations which she unconsciously displayed. Under other circumstances than these, a personal attachment such as
Nah, he was listening. Ted was listening. I knew you were in the bushes, though, Ted. That's why I said something.
The discharge of his duties, but in this case,
That's why I said you were
since it was
sleeping.
for Cleopatra's sake and her behalf that the operations which Caesar had
All right,
undertaken
let's do some
were to be
Domino, guys.
prosecuted, his
Let's
love
quit
for
playing
her
around.
only stimulated the
I'm not
spirit
playing around talking to you
energy
guys, but I'm
with
just
which he
saying.
engaged in them. The first measure to be adopted was, as Caesar
What are you
plainly
doing?
perceived, to concentrate and strengthen his
Oh,
position
now
in the
look at him.
city, so that he
What are you
might be
doing?
able to defend
Hey.
himself there against Achilles until he should receive reinforcements.
Hunter.
For this purpose,
Dude, I swear to God, he plays at this time every night. This is the third night in a row he's played at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's wanting to get up and play.
Of Causeway, which led to
The third night in a row.
and withdrawing his troops from
Come here,
all
Ted.
other
I mean,
parts of the city,
Ted.
established
come
them
here,
there.
Hunter.
The quarter which he
Ted
thus
is bigger than him.
Hunter,
contained the great city arsenals
Hoppity
and
hop.
public granaries.
Hoppity hop.
Caesar brought together all the arms and munitions of war which he could find in other
Come
parts
on.
of the city,
Come
and
on.
also all the corn
Come on,
and
buddy.
other provisions which were contained either in the public depots or in private
Forget it, Dad.
warehouses.
Go back by
and
mama
stored
now.
the whole within his lines.
I don't want you.
He then enclosed the
boy.
whole quarter
Not right
with
now,
strong
no.
defenses. The avenues leading to it were barricaded with walls of stone. Houses in the vicinity, which
He's
might
coming
have
by you.
afforded shelter to an enemy,
Oh, you're coming
were
slow, little
demolished and the
hippity hop.
materials used in constructing walls wherever they were needed,
Come here,
or in strengthening the barricades. Prodigious military engines made to throw heavy stones and beams of wood and other ponderous missiles were set up within his lines, and openings were made in the walls and other defenses of the citadel, wherever necessary.
You're gonna go to sleep. Is you really telling me you want me to go to sleep? No, I can't do that.
There was a strong fortress
I can't do that. I got people in my chat there, buddy.
or mole leading to the island of Pharos, which was without Caesar's lines, and still in the hands of the Egyptian authorities.
Yeah, I know them
The
fools are
Egyptians
bad.
thus
aren't they?
commanded the entrance to the mole. The island itself
Oh, bless
also,
you.
with the fortress at
Bless
the
you,
other
little
end of
buddy.
the pier, was still in the possession of the Egyptian authorities, who seemed disposed to hold it for Achilles. The mole was very long,
What are you
as the
doing?
island was nearly a mile
You're gonna
from
act
the
like you're
Go to
sleeping?
sleep.
You're gonna act like you're sleeping right now?
island itself, besides
You're
the
gonna act like you're
fortress and
sleeping?
castle built there to defend the place. The garrison of this castle was strong, and the inhabitants of the town too
No, honey.
constituted a somewhat formidable population.
Hey, don't do that.
As they consisted of
Oh,
fishermen,
jeez.
sailors, wreckers, and such other desperate characters as such a spot. Cleopatra and Caesar, from the windows of their palace within the city, looked out upon this island, with the tall lighthouse rising in the center of it, and the
Yeah.
castle at its base,
Okay,
and
dude.
upon the long and narrow isthmus connecting it with the mainland, and concluded that it was very essential that they should get possession of the post commanding, as it did, the entrance to the harbor. In the harbor, which was on the south side of the moon, and consequently on the side opposite to that which Achilles was advancing toward the city, there were lying a large
Kiss this
number of
cat
Egyptian vessels,
before he falls
some
asleep on me.
dismantled, and others manned and armed more or less effectively. These vessels had not yet
Nope.
come into Achilles' hands, but it would be certain that he would
Nope.
take possession of them as soon as he should gain admittance to those parts of the city which Caesar had abandoned. This was extremely important to prevent.
Shout out to the 8 people. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for the 13 likes. Appreciate it.
Continued to command the island of Pharos, he would be perfect master of all the approaches to the city on the side of the sea. He could then not only receive reinforcements and supplies himself from that quarter, but he could also effectually cut off the Roman army from all possibility of receiving any. It became, therefore, as Caesar thought, imperiously necessary that he should protect himself from this danger. This he did by sending out an expedition to burn all the shipping in the harbor and, at the same time, to take possession of a certain fort upon the island of Pharos, which commanded
Here.
the entrance to the port. This undertaking was abundantly successful. The troops burned the shipping, took the fort, expelled the Egyptian soldiers from it, and put a Roman
Playtime.
garrison into it
3
instead,
o'clock.
and then returned in safety within Caesar's lines.
He's done it now 3 nights in a row.
Witnessed these exploits from her palace
Where you at?
windows with feelings of the highest admiration
Let
for
him go
the
sleep right
energy
there then.
and valor which her Roman protectors displayed. The burning of the Egyptian ships in this action, however fortunate for Cleopatra and Caesar, was attended with a catastrophe which has ever since been lamented by the whole civilized world. Some of the burning ships were driven by the wind to the shore, where they set fire to the buildings which were contiguous to the water. The flames spread and produced an extensive conflagration,
Look
in
at
the
this. He's
course
falling
of
asleep
which
right
the
there.
largest part of the great
Or he
library
was.
was destroyed. This
Venom.
library was the only general collection of the ancient writings that had ever been made, and the loss of it was never repaired.
You gonna go to the
The
bathroom?
destruction of the Egyptian fleet resulted also in the downfall and
Pretty sure I'm
ruin
gonna
of
have to clean that
Achilles.
out.
From the
Mhm.
time of Arsinoe's arrival in the camp, there had been a constant
I think one of the other
rivalry and
ones
jealousy
already
between
went in it.
himself and Ganymede, the
Nope.
eunuch who had accompanied Arsinoe in her flight.
Is this what he's doing? He's using it?
In the army, some
Yep.
declaring for Achilles,
Good
and some
boy.
for Ganymede. Arsinoe advocated Ganymede's interests, and when at length the fleet was burned, she charged Achilles with having been, by his neglect or incapacity, the cause of the loss. Achilles was tried, condemned, and beheaded. From that time, Ganymede assumed the administration of Arsinoe's government as her minister of state and the commander-in-chief of her armies. About the time that these occurrences took place, the Egyptian army advanced into those parts of the city from which Caesar had withdrawn, producing those terrible scenes of panic and confusion which always attend a sudden and violent change of military possession within the precincts of a city. Ganymede brought up his troops on every side to the walls of Caesar's citadels and entrenchments, and hemmed him closely in. He cut off all avenues of approach to Caesar's lines by land, and commenced vigorous preparations for an assault. He
Shout out to the 9 people.
constructed
Appreciate it,
engines for
guys.
battering down walls. He opened shops and established forges in every part of the city for the manufacture of darts, spears, pikes, and all kinds of military machinery. He built towers supported upon huge wheels with the design of filling them with armed men, when readily available to make his assault upon Caesar's lines, and moving them up to the walls of the citadels and palaces, so as to give his soldiers the advantage of a lofty elevation in making their attacks. He levied contributions on the rich citizens for the necessary funds, and provided himself with men by pressing
Good boy.
artisans, laborers,
Good
forms back
boy.
into the interior of the country in every direction, summoning the people to arms and calling for contributions of money and military stores. These messengers were instructed to urge upon the people that, unless Caesar and his army were at once expelled from Alexandria, there was imminent danger that the national independence of Egypt would be forever destroyed. The Romans, they were to say, had extended their conquests over almost all the rest of the world. They had sent one army into Egypt before, under the command of Mark Antony, under the pretense of restoring Ptolemy Auletes to the throne. Now another commander, with another force, had come, offering some other pretext for interfering in their affairs. These Roman encroachments, the messengers were to say, would end in the complete subjugation of Egypt to a foreign power, unless the people of the country arouse themselves
Hey, what's up,
to meet the
Karina? How you
danger
doing, sweetie?
manfully and to expel the intruders. For some time, the army within could not understand these changes, and when, at length, they discovered the cause, the soldiers were panic-stricken at the thought that they were now, apparently, wholly at the mercy of their enemies, since, without supplies of water, they must all immediately perish.
I'm glad you got your old job back,
To
sweetie.
attempt any longer to hold
What
out
old job
and
back?
urge
She got her
Caesar
other
to
job back, her
evacuate
old
the city,
job.
embark on board his
What,
galleys,
from North
and
Carolina or
proceed to
South
sea.
Carolina?
Instead of doing this, however,
I
Caesar,
remember.
ordering all other operations to be suspended,
Thank you for the 10 people in the chat and the 13 likes, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, could you do that favor for me? If you haven't. If you have, I appreciate it. Oh, who the hell was that?
Fresh water,
I
he
don't know.
said,
It's just a
was
look.
almost invariably found.
Oh my goodness. Really, Cassie.
Even upon ground
What
lying
she put? Let me
in
see.
buried sea.
Hmm?
The digging was
For
successful.
Timu.
Fresh water
Let me
in
see.
great abundance was found.
Let me see.
Thus, this danger was passed, and the men's fears effectually relieved. A short time after these transactions occurred, there came into the
Oh.
one day, from along the shore west
You
of
know
the
what the hell
city,
that was?
a
This
small
is the
sloop
floor. Oh,
bringing the intelligence
There he
that a
goes
squadron
underneath the
of
chair.
transports had arrived upon the coast to the westward of Alexandria, and had anchored there, being unable to come up to the city on account of an easterly wind which
Hunter.
prevailed that season
oh,
of
okay.
the year. The squadron
Hunter.
was one which had been sent across the
Hunter.
Mediterranean with arms, ammunition, and military stores for Caesar, in answer to requisitions which he had made immediately after he had landed.
Hunter.
From North Carolina, babe, she said.
Thus
Oh,
windbound
okay.
on the coast, and having nearly
Hunter.
exhausted their supplies of water, were in distress, and they accordingly sent forward the sloop, which was probably propelled by oars, to make known
I'm
their
checking it now,
situation to
Cass.
Caesar, and to ask
Why don't
for
you have
succor.
Timo on this one?
Caesar
Huh?
immediately
Why don't you have
went
Timo on this
himself
phone?
on board one of
Because
his
I
galleys,
took it off.
and ordering the remainder of
Oh,
his
okay.
little fleet
I can't look at it,
to
Cassie. She took
set
Timo off of
sail
her
from
off of
the
this phone.
harbor, and then turned
And
to
the
the
only other
westward,
phone that has
with
Timo
the
on it
view
is
of proceeding along the
This one
coast
right
to
here.
the place where the
no,
transports
that
were
one too.
lying. All this was done secretly. The land is so low in the vicinity of Alexandria that boats or galleys are out of sight from it at a very short distance from the shore. In fact, travelers say that, in coming upon the coast, the illusion produced by the spherical form of the surface of the water and the low and level character of the coast is such that one
Damn,
seems
it ends
actually
tomorrow.
to descend from the sea to the land. Caesar might, therefore, have easily kept his expedition a secret, had it not been that, in order to be provided with a supply of water for the transports immediately on reaching them, he stopped at a solitary part of the coast, at some distance from Alexandria, and sent a party a little way into the interior in search for water. This party were discovered by the country people, and was intercepted by a troop of horse, and made prisoners. From these prisoners, the Egyptians learned that Caesar himself was on the coast with a small squadron of galleys. The tidings spread in all directions. The people flocked together from every quarter. They hastily collected all the boats
Okay,
and
cool. I seen
vessels
him.
which could be obtained at the villages in that region, and from the various branches of the Nile. In
Oh
the
my god, what
meantime,
is that?
Caesar had gone on to the anchorage
New
ground of
tray?
the squadron, and had taken in
Oh, the one that she
transports
sent? Yeah.
in tow to bring them to the city. For the galleys, being propelled by oars, were in a measure independent of the wind. On his return, he found quite a formidable naval armament assembled to dispute the passage. A severe conflict ensued, but Caesar was victorious. The navy which the Egyptians had so suddenly got together was as suddenly destroyed. Some of the vessels were burned, others sunk, and others captured, and Caesar returned in triumph to the port with his transports and stores. He was welcomed with the acclamations of his soldiers, and still more warmly by the joy and gratitude of Cleopatra, who had been waiting during his absence in great anxiety and suspense to know the result of the expedition, aware as she was that her hero was exposing himself in it to the most imminent personal danger. The arrival of these reinforcements greatly improved Caesar's condition, and the circumstance of their coming forced upon the mind of Ganymede a sense of the absolute necessity that he should gain possession of the harbor if he intended to keep Caesar in check. He accordingly determined to take immediate measures for forming a naval force. He sent along the coast and ordered every ship and galley that could be found in all the ports to be sent immediately to Alexandria. He employed as many men as possible in and around the city in building more. He unroofed some of the most magnificent edifices to procure timber as a material for making benches and oars. When all was ready, he made a grand attack upon Caesar
Start
in
to
the
sleepy
port,
gone.
and a terrible contest ensued for the possession of the harbor, the mole,
Don't
the
wake him up.
island, and the citadels and
Look at him.
fortresses commanding
Oh,
the
he's
entrances from the
sleeping.
sea.
He's looking at me.
Caesar well knew this contest would be a decisive one in respect to the final result of the war, and he accordingly went forth himself to take an active and personal part in the conflict. He felt doubtless, too, a strong emotion of pride and pleasure in exhibiting his prowess in the sight of Cleopatra, who could watch the progress of the battle from the palace windows, full of excitement at the dangers which he incurred, and of admiration at the feats of strength and valor which he performed. During this battle, the life of the great conqueror was several times in the most imminent danger. He wore a habit or mantle of the imperial purple, which made him a conspicuous mark for his enemies, and of course, wherever he went, in that place was the hottest of the fight. Once, in the midst of a scene of most dreadful confusion and din, he leaped from an overloaded boat into the water
There's something
and
to drink
swam
over
for
there.
his life, holding his cloak between his teeth and drawing it through the water after him, that it might not fall into the hands of his enemies. He carried, at the same time as he swam, certain valuable papers which he wished to save, holding them above his head with one hand, while he propelled himself through the water with the other. The result of this contest was another decisive victory for Caesar. Not only were the ships which the Egyptians had collected defeated and destroyed, but the mole, with the fortresses at each extremity of it, and the island, with the lighthouse and the town of Pharos, all fell into Caesar's hands. The Egyptians now began to be discouraged. The army and the people, judging, as mankind always do, of the virtue of their military commanders, solely by the criterion of success, began to be tired of the rule of Ganymede and Arsinoe. They sent secret messengers to Caesar, avowing their discontent, and saying that, if he would liberate Ptolemy, who, it will be recollected, had been all this time held as sort of a prisoner of state in Caesar's palaces, they thought that the people generally would receive him as their sovereign, and that then an arrangement might easily be made for an amicable adjustment of the whole controversy. Caesar was strongly inclined to accede to this proposal. He accordingly called Ptolemy into his presence, and taking him kindly by the hand, informed him of the wishes of the people of Egypt, and gave him permission to go. Ptolemy, however, begged not to be sent away. He professed the strongest attachment to Caesar and the utmost confidence in him, and he very much preferred, he said, to remain under his protection. Caesar replied that, if those were his sentiments, the separation would not be a lasting one. If we part as friends, he said, we we shall soon meet again. By these and similar assurances, he endeavored to encourage the young prince, and then sent him away.
What are you playing? You gonna play No Build or what?
And was immediately placed at
Huh?
the head of the government.
You
Instead,
playing No Build?
of endeavoring to promote a settlement of the quarrel with Caesar, he seemed to enter into it now himself personally with the utmost ardor, and began at once to
Shout out to the 9
make
people.
extensive
Appreciate you guys.
preparations, both by sea and land, for a vigorous prosecution of the war. What the result of these operations would have been can now not be known, for the general aspect of affairs was, soon after these transactions, totally changed by the occurrence of a new and very important event which suddenly intervened, and which turned the attention of all parties, both Egyptians and Romans, to the eastern quarter of the kingdom. The tidings arrived that a large army under the command of a general named Mithridates, whom Caesar had dispatched into Asia for this purpose, had suddenly appeared at Pelusium, had captured that city, and were now ready to march to Alexandria. The Egyptian army immediately broke up its encampments in the neighborhood of Alexandria and marched to the eastward to meet these new invaders. Caesar followed them with all the forces that he could safely take away from the city. He left the city in the night and unobserved moved across the country with such celerity that he joined Mithridates before the forces of Ptolemy had arrived. After various marches and maneuvers, the armies met, and a great battle was fought. The Egyptians were defeated. Ptolemy's camp was taken. As the Roman army burst in upon one side of it, the guards and attendants of Ptolemy fled upon the other,
As soon as I put that
over the
shit in.
ramparts in the utmost terror and confusion. The
Oh, okay.
foremost fell headlong into the ditch below, which was thus soon filled to the brim with the dead and dying, while those who came behind pressed on over the bridge thus formed, trampling remorselessly as they fled on the bodies of their comrades who lay writhing, struggling, and shrieking beneath their feet. Those who escaped reached the river. They crowded together into a boat which lay at the bank and pushed off from the shore. The boat was overloaded, and it sank as soon as it left the land. The Romans drew the bodies, which floated to the shore upon the bank again, and they found among them one, which, by the royal cuirass which was upon it, the customary badge and armor of the Egyptian kings, they knew to be the body of Ptolemy. The victory which Caesar obtained in this battle and the death of Ptolemy ended the war. Nothing now remained but for him to place himself at the head of the combined forces and march back to Alexandria. The Egyptian forces which had been left there made no resistance, and he entered the city in triumph. He took Arsinoe prisoner. He decreed that Cleopatra should reign as queen, and that she should marry her youngest brother, the other Ptolemy, a boy at this time about 11 years of age. A marriage with one so young was, of course, a mere form. Cleopatra remained as before the companion of Caesar. Caesar had, in the meantime, incurred great censure at Rome and throughout the whole Roman world for having thus turned aside from his own proper duties as the Roman consul and the commander-in-chief of the armies of the empire to embroil himself in the quarrels of a remote and secluded kingdom with which the interests of the Roman Commonwealth were so little connected. His friends and the authorities at Rome were continually urging him to return. They were especially indignant at his protracted neglect of his own proper duties, from knowing that he was held in Egypt by a guilty attachment to the queen, thus not only violating his obligations to the state, but likewise inflicting upon his wife, Calpurnia, and his family at Rome an intolerable wrong. But Caesar was so fascinated by Cleopatra's charms and by the mysterious and unaccountable influence which she exercised over him that he paid no heed to any of these remonstrances. Even after the war was ended, he remained some months in Egypt to enjoy his favorite's society. He would spend whole nights in her company in feasting and revelry. He made a splendid royal progress with her through Egypt after the war was over, attended by a numerous train of Roman guards. He formed a plan for taking her to Rome and marrying her there, and he took measures for having the laws of the city altered so as to enable him to do so, though he was already married. All these things produced her sensibilities and to destroy that gentleness and timidity of demeanor which have so great an influence in heightening her charms. Cleopatra was beginning to experience these effects.
Shout out to the
She
9
was
people still here.
indifferent to
Appreciate
the
you guys.
opinions of her subjects and was only anxious to maintain, as long as possible, her guilty ascendancy over Caesar. Caesar, however, finally determined to set out on his return to the capital, leaving Cleopatra, accordingly, a sufficient force to secure the continuance of her power. He embarked the remainder of his forces in his transports and galleys and sailed away. He took the unhappy Arsinoe with him, intending to exhibit her as a trophy to his Egyptian victories on his arrival at Rome. End of chapter 7.
End of chapter 7.
Chapter 8 of Cleopatra.
We're going getting hot.
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, how to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by MCY. Cleopatra by Jacob Abbott. Chapter 8. Cleopatra, a Queen. The Alexandrian War very short. Its extent. Revenues of Egypt. The city repaired. The library rebuilt. A new collection of manuscripts. Luxury and splendor. Deterioration of Cleopatra's character. The young Ptolemy. Cleopatra assassinates him. Career of Caesar. His rapid course of conquest. Cleopatra determines to go to Rome. Feelings of the Romans. Caesar's 4 triumphs. Nature of triumphal procession. Arsinoe. Sympathy of the Roman people. Caesar overacts his part. Feasts and festivals. Riot and debauchery. Public combats. The artificial lake. Combat upon it. Land combats. The people shocked. Cleopatra's visit. Caesar's plans for making himself king. Conspiracy against Caesar. He is assassinated. Arsinoe released. Calpurnia mourns her husband's death. Calpurnia looks to Mark Antony as a protector. The war by which Caesar reinstated Cleopatra upon the throne was not one of very long duration. Caesar arrived in Egypt in pursuit of Pompey about the 1st of August. The war was ended and Cleopatra established secure possession by the end of January. So that the conflict, violent as it was while it continued, was very brief, the peaceful and commercial pursuits of the Alexandrians having been interrupted by it only for a few months. Nor did either the war itself, or the derangements consequent upon it, extend very far into the interior of the country. The city of Alexandria itself and the neighboring coasts were the chief scenes of the contest until Mithridates arrived at Pelusium. He, it is true, marched across the delta, and the final battle was fought in the interior of the country. It was, however, after all, but a very small portion of the Egyptian territory that was directly affected by the war. The great mass of the people, occupying the region's fertile tracts which bordered the various branches of the Nile, and the longer verdant valley which extended so far into the heart of the continent, knew nothing of the conflict but by vague and distant rumors. The pursuits of the agricultural population went on, all the time, as steadily and prosperously as ever, so that when the conflict was ended, and Cleopatra entered upon the quiet and peaceful possession of her power, she found that the resources of her empire were very little impaired. She availed herself accordingly of the revenues which poured in very abundantly upon her, to enter upon a career of the greatest luxury, magnificence, and splendor. The injuries which had been done to the palaces and other public edifices of Alexandria by the fire, and by the military operations of the siege, were repaired. The bridges which had been down were rebuilt. The canals which had been obstructed were opened again. The seawater was shut off from the palace cisterns. The rubbish of demolished houses was removed. The barricades were cleared from the streets, and the injuries which the palace had suffered either from the violence of military engines or the rough occupations of the Roman soldiery were repaired. In a word, the city was speedily restored once more, so far as was possible, to its former order and beauty. The 500,000 manuscripts of the Alexandrian Library, which had been burned, could not indeed be restored. But in all other respects, the city soon resumed in appearance all its former splendor. Even in respect to the library, Cleopatra made an effort to retrieve the loss. She repaired the ruined buildings, and afterward, in the course of her life, she brought together, it was said, in a manner hereafter to be described, 100,000 or 200,000 rolls of manuscripts, as the commencement of a new collection. The new library, however, never acquired the fame and distinction that had pertained to the old. The former sovereigns of Egypt, Cleopatra's ancestors, had generally, as has already been shown, devoted the immense revenues which they extorted from the agriculturalists of the valley of the Nile to purposes of ambition. Cleopatra seemed now
Shout out
disposed
to
to
the 16
expand
chat. Appreciate you
luxury
guys.
and pleasure. They, the
Happy
Ptolemies,
Saturday.
had employed their resources in erecting vast structures or founding magnificent institutions at Alexandria to add to the glory of the city and to widen and extend their own fame. Cleopatra, on the other hand, as was perhaps naturally to be expected of a young, beautiful, and impulsive woman, suddenly raised to so conspicuous a position, and to the possession of such unbounded wealth and power, expended her royal revenues in plans of personal display and in scenes of festivity, gaiety, and enjoyment. She adorned her palaces, built magnificent barges for pleasure excursions on the Nile, and expended enormous sums for dress, for equipages, and for sumptuous entertainments. In fact, so lavish were her expenditures for these and similar purposes during the early years of her reign, that she is considered as having carried the extravagance of sensual luxury, personal display, and splendor beyond the limits that had ever before or ever since been attained. Whatever of simplicity of character, and of gentleness and kindness of spirit she might have possessed in her earlier years, of course gradually disappeared under the influences of such a course of life as she now was leading. She was beautiful and fascinating still, but she began to grow selfish, heartless, and designing. Her little brother, he was but 11 years of age, it will be recollected when Caesar arranged the marriage between them, was an object of jealousy to her. He was now, of course, too young to take any actual share in the exercise of the royal power, or to interfere at all in his sister's plans or pleasures. But then he was growing older. In a few years he would be 15, which was the period of life fixed upon by Caesar's arrangements, and in fact by the laws and usages of the Egyptian kingdom, when he was to come into possession of power as a king and as a husband of Cleopatra. Cleopatra was extremely unwilling that the change in her relations to him,
All right, good night. Really appreciate it, Cass.
which his spirit was to bring, should take place. Accordingly, just before the time arrived, she caused him to be poisoned. His death released her, as she had intended, from all restraints, and thereafter she continued to reign alone. During the remainder of her life, so far as the enjoyment of wealth and power, and of all other elements of external prosperity could go, Cleopatra's career was one of uninterrupted success. She had no conscientious scruples to interfere with the most full and unrestrained indulgence of every propensity of her heart, and the means of indulgence were before her in the most unlimited profusion. The only bar to her happiness was the possibility of satisfying the impulses and passions of the human soul, when they once break over the bounds which the laws both of God and of nature ordained for restraining them. In the meantime, while Cleopatra was spending the early years of her reign in all this luxury and splendor, Caesar was pursuing his career, as a conqueror of the world in the most successful manner. On the death of Pompey, he would naturally have succeeded at once to the enjoyment of the supreme power, but his delay in Egypt, and the extent to which it was known that he was entangled with Cleopatra, encouraged and strengthened his enemies in various parts of the world. In fact, a revolt which broke out in Asia Minor, and which it was absolutely necessary that he should proceed at once to quell, was the immediate cause of his leaving Egypt at last. Other plans for making head against Caesar's power were formed in Spain, in Africa, and in Italy. His military skill and energy, however, were so great, and the ascendancy which he exercised over the minds of men by his personal presence was so abounding, and so astonishing, moreover, was the celerity with which he moved from continent to continent, and from kingdom to kingdom, that in a very short period from the time of his leaving Egypt, he had conducted most brilliant and successful campaigns in all the 3 quarters of the world then known, had put down effectually all opposition to his power, and then had returned to Rome, the acknowledged master of the world. Cleopatra, who had of course watched his career during all this time with great pride and pleasure, concluded at last to go to Rome and make a visit to him there. The people of Rome were, however, not prepared to receive her very cordially. It was an age in which vice of every kind was regarded with great indulgence, but the moral instincts of mankind were too strong to be wholly blinded to the true character of so conspicuous an example of wickedness as this. Arsinoe was at Rome too during this period of Caesar's life. He had brought her there, to be recollected, on his return from Egypt, as a prisoner, and as a trophy of his victory. His design was, in fact, to reserve her as a captive to grace his triumph. A triumph, according to the usages of the ancient Romans, was a grand celebration decreed by the Senate to great military commanders of the highest rank, when they returned from distant campaigns in which they had made great conquests or gained extraordinary victories. Caesar concentrated all his triumphs into one. They were celebrated on his return to Rome for the last time after having completed the conquest of the world. The processions of his triumph occupied 4 days. In fact, there were 4 triumphs, one on each day for the 4 days. The wars and conquests, which these ovations were intended to celebrate, were those of Gaul, of Egypt, of Asia, and of Africa. And the processions of the several days consisted of endless trains of prisoners, trophies, arms, banners, pictures, images, convoys of wagons loaded with plunder, captive princes and princesses, animals wild and tame, and everything else which the conqueror had been able to bring home with him from his campaigns, to excite the curiosity or the admiration of the people of the city, and illustrate the magnitude of his exploits. Of course, the Roman generals, when engaged in distant foreign wars, were ambitious of bringing back as many distinguished captives and as much public plunder as they were able to obtain, in order to add to the variety and splendor.
Who's still here with me? Let me know who's still here with
which
me.
their victories were to be honored on their return. It was with this view that Caesar brought Arsinoe from Egypt, and he had retained her as his captive at Rome until his conquest.
Give me a thumbs up if you're still here.
And the time for his triumph arrived. She, of course, formed a part of the triumphal train of the Egyptian day. She walked immediately before the chariot in which Caesar rode. She was in chains, like any other captive, though her chains in order of their lofty rank were made of gold. The effect, however, upon the Roman population of seeing the unhappy princess, overwhelmed as she was with sorrow and chagrin, as she moved slowly along in the train, among the other emblems.
Lisa's still here. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate you, sweetie.
Proved to be by no means favorable to Caesar. The population were inclined to pity her and to sympathize with her sufferings. The sight of her distress.
Lisa, what diamond art did you finish last? What was your last diamond art?
Yielding to the enticements of Cleopatra and remaining so long in Egypt to the neglect of his proper duties as a Roman minister of state. In a word, the tide of admiration for Caesar's military exploits, which had been setting so strongly in his favor, seemed inclined to turn, and the city was filled with murmurs against him even in the midst of his triumphs. In fact, the pride and vainglory which led Caesar to make his triumphs more splendid and imposing than any other former conqueror had ever enjoyed, caused him to overact
The
his
mountain
part
one?
so as to produce
When did you
results
finish that one?
the reverse of his intentions. The case of Arsinoe was one example of this. Instead of impressing the people with a sense of the greatness of his exploits in Egypt, in deposing one queen and bringing her captive to Rome, in order that he might place another upon the throne.
I think everybody else is sleeping, Lisa. You're the only one here. I appreciate it.
He had deserved by his actions there, but which, had it not been for the pitiable spectacle of Arsinoe in the train, might have been forgotten. There were other examples of a similar character. There were the feasts, for instance. For the plunder which Caesar had obtained in his various campaigns, he expended the most enormous sums in making feasts and spectacles for the populace at the time of his triumph. A large portion of the populace was pleased, it is true, with the boundless indulgences thus offered to them, but the better part of the Roman people were indignant at the waste and extravagance which were everywhere displayed. For many days the whole city of Rome presented to the view nothing but one widespread scene of riot and debauchery. The people, instead of being pleased with this abundance, said that Caesar must have practiced the most extreme and lawless extortion to have obtained the vast amount of money necessary to enable him to supply such unbounded and reckless waste. There was another way, too, by which Caesar turned public opinion strongly against himself, by the very means which he adopted for creating a
Really?
sentiment in his favor.
I got
The
you.
Romans, among the other barbarous amusements which were
What size was that one? Do you remember?
were
I know it
especially
was huge.
combats. These combats were of various kinds. They were fought sometimes between ferocious beasts of the same or of different species, as dogs against each other, or against bulls, lions, or tigers. Any animals, in fact, were employed for this purpose, that could be teased or goaded into anger and ferocity in a fight. Sometimes men were employed in these combats, captive soldiers that had been taken in war and brought to Rome to fight in the amphitheaters there as gladiators. These men were compelled to contend sometimes with wild beasts, and sometimes with one another. Caesar, knowing how highly the Roman assemblies enjoyed such things, determined to afford them indulgence on a most magnificent scale, supposing, of course, that the greater and the more dreadful the fight, the higher would be the pleasure which the spectators would enjoy in witnessing it. Accordingly, in making preparations for the festivities attending his triumph, he caused a large artificial lake to be formed at a convenient place in the vicinity of Rome, where he could be surrounded by the populace of the city, and there he made arrangements for a naval battle. A great number of galleys were introduced into the lake. They were of the usual size employed in war. These galleys were manned with numerous soldiers. Tyrian captives were put upon one side, and Egyptian upon the other, and when all was ready, the two squadrons were ordered to approach and fight a real battle for the amusement of the enormous throngs of spectators that were assembled around. As the nations from which the combatants in this conflict were respectively taken were hostile to each other, and as the men fought, of course, for their lives, the engagement was attended with the usual horrors of a desperate naval encounter. Hundreds were slain. The dead bodies of the combatants fell from the galleys into the lake, and the waters of it were dyed with their blood. There were land combats, too, on the same grand scale. In one of them, 500 foot soldiers, 20 elephants, and a troop of 30 horses were engaged on each side. This combat,
80 by
therefore,
60
was much
centimeters.
greater in respect to
Man,
number of the
my biggest one
combatants
is a 90 by
than the
30.
famous Battle of Lexington, which marked the commencement of the American War. And in respect to the slaughter which took place, it
I'll be
was
back. I
very
gotta take
probably
these
10
back.
times greater. The horror of these scenes proved to be too much even for the populace, fierce and merciless as it was, which they were intended to use. Caesar, in his eagerness to outdo all former exhibitions and shows, went beyond the limits within which the same young man butchered bloody comrades and dying in agony and despair would serve for pleasure and pastime. The people were shocked, and condemnations of Caesar's cruelty were added to the other suppressed reproaches and recriminations which everywhere arose. Cleopatra, during her visit to Rome, lived openly with Caesar at his residence, and this excited very general displeasure. In fact, while the people pitied Arsinoe, Cleopatra, notwithstanding her beauty and her thousand personal accomplishments and charms, was an object of general displeasure so far as public attention was turned toward her at all. The public mind was, however, much engrossed by the great political movements made by Caesar and the ends toward which he seemed to be aiming. Men accused him of designing to be made a king. Parties were formed for and against him, and though men did not dare openly to utter their sentiments, their passions became the more violent in proportion to the external force by which they were suppressed. Mark Antony was at Rome at this time. He warmly espoused Caesar's cause, and encouraged his design of making himself king. He once, in fact, offered to place a royal diadem upon Caesar's head at some public celebration, but the marks of public disapprobation which the act elicited caused him to desist. At length, however, the time arrived and Caesar determined to cause himself to be proclaimed king. He took advantage of a certain remarkable conjuncture of public affairs, which cannot here be particularly described, but which seemed to him especially to favor his designs, and arrangements were made for having him invested with the regal power by the Senate. The murmurs and the discontent of the people, and the indications that the time for the realization of their fears was drawing nigh, became more and more audible, and at length a conspiracy was formed to put an end to the danger by destroying the ambitious aspirant's life. Two stern and determined men, Brutus and Cassius, were the leaders of this conspiracy. They matured their plans, organized their band of associates, provided themselves secretly with arms, and when the Senate convened, on the day in which the decisive vote was to have been passed, Caesar himself presiding, they came up boldly around him in his presidential chair and murdered him with their daggers. Antony, from whom the plans of the conspirators had been kept profoundly secret, stood by, looking on stupefied, confounded while the deed was done, but utterly unable to render his friend any protection. Cleopatra immediately fled from the city and returned to Egypt. Arsinoe had gone away before. Caesar, either taking pity of her misfortunes, or impelled perhaps by the force of public sentiment, which seemed inclined to take part with her against him, set her at liberty immediately after the ceremonies of his triumph were over. He would not, however, allow her to return into Egypt for fear, probably, that she might in some way or other be the means of disturbing the government of Cleopatra. She proceeded accordingly to Syria, no longer as a captive, but still as an exile from her native land. We shall hereafter learn what became of her there. Calpurnia mourned the death of her husband with sincere and unaffected grief. She bore the wrongs which she suffered as a wife with a very patient and unrepining spirit. She loved her husband with the most devoted attachment to the end. Nothing can be more affecting than the proofs of her tender and anxious regard on the night immediately preceding the assassination. There were certain slight and obscure indications of danger, which her watchful devotion to her husband led her to observe, though they eluded the notice of all Caesar's other friends, and they filled her with a great
Shout out to the 5
anxiety.
people in the chat.
And
Appreciate you
when at
guys.
length the bloody body was brought home to her in the Senate house, she was overwhelmed with grief and despair. She had no children. She accordingly looked upon Mark Antony as her nearest friend and protector, and in the confusion and terror which prevailed the next day in the city, she hastily packed together the money and other valuables contained in the house, and all her husband's books and papers, and sent them to Antony for safekeeping. End of chapter 8.
And chapter 8. Yeah.
This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. This reading by Anna Roberts. Cleopatra by Jacob Abbott. Chapter 9. The Battle of Philippi. Consternation at Rome. Caesar's will. Brutus and Cassius. Parties formed. Octavius and Lepidus. Character of Octavius. Octavius proceeds to Rome. He claims his rights as heir. Lepidus takes command of the army. The triumvirate. Conference between Octavius, Lepidus, and Antony. Embassage to Cleopatra. Her decision. Cassius abandons his designs. Approach of the triumvirs. The armies meet at Philippi. Sickness of Octavius. Difference of opinion between Brutus and Cassius. Council of war. Decision of the council. Brutus greatly elated. Despondency of Cassius. Preparations for battle. Resolution of Brutus to die. Similar resolve of Cassius. Omens. Their influence upon Cassius. The swarms of bees. Warnings received by Brutus. The spirit seen by Brutus. His conversation with it. Battle of Philippi. Defeat of Octavius. Defeat of Cassius. Brutus goes to his aid. Death of Cassius. Grief of Brutus. Defeat of Brutus. His retreat. Situation of Brutus in the glen. The helmet of water. Brutus surrounded. Proposal of Statilius. Anxiety and suspense. Resolution of Brutus. Brutus's farewell to his friends. The last duty. Death of Brutus. Situation of Antony. When the tidings of the assassination of Caesar were first announced to the people of Rome, all ranks and classes of men were struck with amazement and consternation. No one knew what to say or do. A very large and influential portion of the community had been Caesar's friends. It was equally certain that there was a very powerful interest opposed to him. No one could foresee which of these two parties would now carry the day, and, of course, for a time, all was uncertainty and indecision. Mark Antony came forward at once and assumed the position of Caesar's representative and the leader of the party on that side. A will was found among Caesar's effects, and when the will was opened, it appeared that large sums of money were left to the Roman people and other large amounts to a nephew of the deceased, named Octavius, who will be more particularly spoken of hereafter. Antony was named in the will as the executor of it. This and other circumstances seemed to authorize him to come forward as the head and the leader of the Caesar party. Brutus and Cassius, who remained openly in the city after their desperate deed had been performed, were the acknowledged leaders of the other party, while the mass of the people were at first so astounded at the magnitude and suddenness of the revolution which the open and public assassination of the Roman emperor by a Roman senate denoted, that they knew not what to say or do. In fact, the killing of Julius Caesar, considering the exalted position which he occupied, the rank and station of the men who perpetrated the deed, and the very extraordinary publicity of the scene in which the act was performed, was, doubtless, the most conspicuous and most appalling case of assassination that has ever occurred. The whole population of Rome seemed for some days to be amazed and stupefied by the tidings. At length, however, parties began to be more distinctly formed. The lines of demarcation between them were gradually drawn, and men began to arrange themselves more and more unequivocally on the opposite sides. For a short time the supremacy of Antony over the Caesar party was readily acquiesced in and allowed. At length, however, and before his arrangements were finally matured, he found that he had two formidable competitors upon his own side. These were Octavius and Lepidus. Octavius, who was the nephew of Caesar, already alluded to, was a very accomplished and elegant young man.
Shout out to the 7 people in the chat, whoever
He was
you
the
are.
son of Julius Caesar's niece. Footnote 1. This Octavius, on his subsequent elevation to imperial power, received the name of Augustus Caesar, and it is by this name that he is generally known in history. He was, however, called Octavius at the commencement of his career, and, to avoid confusion, we shall continue to designate him by this name to the end of our narrative. He had always been a great favorite with his uncle. Every possible attention had been paid to his education, and he had been advanced by Caesar already to positions of high importance in public life. Caesar, in fact, adopted him as his son and made him his heir. At the time of Caesar's death he was at Apollonia, a city of Illyricum, north of Greece. The troops under his command there offered to march at once with him, if he wished it, to Rome, and avenge his uncle's death. Octavius, after some hesitation, concluded that it would be more prudent for him to proceed thither first himself, alone, as a private person, and demand his rights as his uncle's heir, according to the provisions of the will. He accordingly did so. He found, on his arrival, that the will, the property, the books and parchments, and the substantial power of the government were all in Antony's hands. Antony, instead of putting Octavius into possession of all his property and rights, found various pretexts for evasion and delay. Octavius was too young yet, he said, to assume such weighty responsibilities. He was himself also too much pressed with the urgency of public affairs to attend to the business of the will. With these and similar excuses as his justification, Antony seemed inclined to pay no regard whatever to Octavius's claims. Octavius, young as he was, possessed a character that was marked with great intelligence, spirit, and resolution. He soon made many powerful friends in the city of Rome and among the Roman Senate. It became a serious question whether he or Antony would gain the greater ascendancy in the party of Caesar's friends. The contest for this ascendancy was, in fact, protracted for 2 or 3 years, and led to a vast complication of intrigues and maneuvers and civil wars, which cannot, however, be here particularly detailed. The other competitor which Antony had to contend with was a distinguished Roman general named Lepidus. Lepidus was an officer of the army, in very high command at the time of Caesar's death. He was present in the Senate chamber on the day of the assassination. He stole secretly away when he saw that the dead was gone, and repaired to the camp of the army without the city, and immediately assumed the command of the forces. This gave him great power, and in the course of the contest which subsequently ensued between Antony and Octavius, he took an active part, and held in some measure the balance between them. At length the contest was finally closed by a coalition of the 3 rivals. Finding that they could not either of them gain a decided victory over the others, they combined together and formed the celebrated triumvirate, which continued afterward for some time to wield the supreme command in the Roman world. In forming this league of reconciliation, the 3 rivals held their conference on an island situated in one of the branches of the Po.
5 people, thank you.
They manifested extreme jealousy and suspicion of each other in coming to this interview. 2 bridges were built leading to the island, one from each bank of the strait. The army of Antony was drawn up upon one side of the river, and that of Octavius upon the other. Lepidus was first to the island by one of the bridges. After examining the ground carefully to make himself sure that it contained no ambuscade, he made a signal to the other generals, who then came over, each advancing by his own bridge, and accompanied by 300 guards who remained upon the bridge to secure a retreat for their masters in case of treachery. The conference lasted 3 days, at the expiration of which time the articles were all agreed upon and signed. This league being formed, the 3 confederates turned their united force against the party of the conspirators. Of this party, Brutus and Cassius were still at the head. The scene of the contest between Octavius, Antony, and Lepidus had been chiefly Italy and other central countries of Europe. Brutus and Cassius, on the other hand, had gone across the Adriatic Sea into the east immediately after Caesar's assassination. They were now in Asia Minor and were employed in concentrating their forces, forming alliances with the various eastern powers, raising troops, bringing over to their side the Roman legions who were stationed in that quarter of the world, seizing magazines and exacting contributions from all who could be induced to favor their cause. Among other ambassadors which they sent, one went to Egypt to demand aid from Cleopatra. Cleopatra, however, was resolved to join the other side in the contest. It was natural that she should feel grateful to Caesar for his efforts and sacrifices in her behalf, and that she should be inclined to favor the cause of his friends. Accordingly, instead of sending troops to aid Brutus and Cassius, as they had desired her to do, she immediately fitted out an expedition to proceed to the coast of Asia, with a view of rendering all the aid in her power to Antony's cause. Cassius, on his part, finding that Cleopatra was determined on joining his enemies, immediately resolved on proceeding at once to Egypt and taking possession of the country. He also stationed a military force at Tmieris, the southern promontory of Greece, to watch for and intercept the fleet of Cleopatra as soon as it should appear on the European shores. All these plans, however, both those which Cleopatra formed against Cassius and those which Cassius formed against her, failed of accomplishment. Cleopatra's fleet encountered a terrible storm, which dispersed and destroyed it. A small remnant was driven upon the coast of Africa, but nothing could be saved which could be made available for the purpose intended. As for Cassius's intended expedition to Egypt, it was not carried into effect. The dangers which began now to threaten him from the direction of Italy and Rome were so imminent that, at Brutus's urgent request, he gave up the Egyptian plan, and the 2 generals concentrated their forces to meet the armies of the triumvirate, which were now rapidly advancing to attack them. They passed for this purpose across the Hellespont, from Sestos to Abydos, and entered Thrace. After various marches and countermarches, and a long succession of those maneuvers by which 2 powerful armies, approaching a contest, endeavor each to gain some position of advantage against the other, the various bodies of troops belonging respectively to the 2 powers came into the vicinity of each other near Philippi. Brutus and Cassius arrived here first. There was a plain in the neighborhood of the city, with a rising ground in a certain portion of it. Brutus took possession of this elevation, and entrenched himself there. Cassius posted his forces about 3 miles distant near the sea. There was a line of entrenchments between the 2 camps, which formed a chain of communication by which the positions of the 2 commanders were connected. The armies were thus very advantageously posted. They had the river Strymon and a marsh on the left of the ground that they occupied, while the plain was before them and the sea behind. Here they awaited the arrival of their foes. Antony, who was at this time at Amphipolis, a city not far distant from Philippi, learning that Brutus and Cassius had taken their positions in the anticipation of an attack, advanced immediately and encamped upon the plain. Octavius was detained by a sickness at the city of Dyrrhachium, not very far distant. Antony waited for him. It was 10 days before he came. At length he arrived, though in coming he had to be borne upon a litter, being still too sick to travel in any other way. Antony approached and established his camp opposite to that of Cassius near the sea, while Octavius took post opposite to Brutus. The 4 armies then paused, contemplating the probable results of the engagement that was about to ensue. The forces on the 2 sides were nearly equal, but on the Republican side, that is, on the side of Brutus and Cassius, there was great inconvenience and suffering for want of a sufficient supply of provisions and stores. There was some difference of opinion between Brutus and Cassius in respect to what it was best for them to do. Brutus was inclined to give the enemy battle. Cassius was reluctant to do so, since, under the circumstances in which they were placed, he considered it unwise to hazard, as they necessarily must do, the whole success of their cause to the chances of a single battle. A council of war was convened, and the various officers were asked to give their opinions. In this conference, one of the officers having recommended to postpone the conflict to the next winter, Brutus asked him what advantage he hoped to attain by such delay. "If I gain nothing else," replied the officer, "I shall live so much the longer." This answer touched Cassius's pride and military sense of honor. Rather than concur in a counsel which was thus, on the part of one of its advocates at least, dictated by what he considered an inglorious love of life, he preferred to retract his opinion. It was agreed by the council that the army should maintain its ground and give the enemy battle. The officers then repaired to their respective camps. Brutus was greatly displeased at this decision. To fight the battle had been his original desire, and as his counsels had prevailed, he was, of course, gratified with the prospect for the morrow. He arranged a sumptuous entertainment in his tent, and invited all the officers of his division of the army to sup with him. The party spent the night in convivial pleasures, and in mutual congratulations at the prospect of the victory which, as they believed, awaited them on the morrow. Brutus entertained his guests with brilliant conversation all the evening, and inspired them with his own confident anticipations of success in the conflict which was to ensue. Cassius, on the other hand, in his camp by the sea, was silent and desponding. He supped privately with a few intimate friends. On rising from the table, he took one of his officers aside, and, pressing his hand, said to him that he felt great misgivings in respect to the result of the contest. "It is against my judgment," said he, "that we thus hazard the liberty of Rome on the events of one battle, fought under such circumstances as these. Whatever is the result, I wish you to bear me witness hereafter that I was forced into this measure by circumstances that I could not control. I suppose, however, that I ought to take courage, notwithstanding the reasons that I have for these gloomy forebodings. Let us, therefore, hope for the best, and come and sup with me again tomorrow night. Tomorrow is my birthday." The next morning, the scarlet mantle, the customary signal displayed in Roman camps on the morning of a day of battle, was seen at the tops of the tents of the two commanding generals, waving there in the air like a banner. While the troops, in obedience to the signal, were preparing themselves for the conflict, the two generals went to meet each other at a point midway between their two encampments, for a final consultation and agreement in respect to the arrangements of the day. When this business was concluded, and they were about to separate, in order to proceed each to his own sphere of duty, Cassius asked Brutus what he intended to do in case the day should go against them. "We hope for the best," said he, "and pray that the gods may grant us the victory in this most momentous crisis. But we must remember that it is the greatest and the most momentous of human affairs that are always the most uncertain, and we cannot foresee what is today to be the result of the battle. If it goes against us, what do you intend to do? Do you intend to escape or to die?" "When I was a young man," said Brutus in reply, "and looked at this subject only as a question of theory, I thought it wrong for a man ever to take his own life. However great the evils that threatened him, and however desperate his condition, I considered it his duty to live, and to wait patiently for better times. But now, placed in the position in which I am, I see the subject in a different light. If we do not gain the battle this day, I shall consider all hope and possibility of saving our country forever gone, and I shall not leave the field of battle alive." Cassius, in his despondency, had made the same resolution for himself before, and he was rejoiced to hear Brutus utter these sentiments. He grasped his colleague's hand with a countenance expressive of the greatest animation and pleasure, and bade him farewell, saying, "We will go out boldly to face the enemy, for we are certain either that we shall conquer them, or that we shall have nothing to fear from their victory over us." Cassius's dejection, and the tendency of his mind to take a despairing view of the prospects of the cause in which he was engaged, were owing, in some measure, to certain unfavorable omens which he had observed. These omens, though really frivolous and wholly unworthy of attention, seemed to have had great influence upon him, notwithstanding his general intelligence, and the remarkable strength and energy of his character. They were as follows. In offering certain sacrifices, he was to wear, according to the usage prescribed on such occasions, a garland of flowers, and it happened that the officer who brought the garland, by mistake or accident, presented it wrong side before him. Again, in some procession which was formed, and in which a certain image of gold, made in honor of him, was borne, the bearer of it stumbled and fell, and the image was thrown upon the ground. This was a very dark presage of impending calamity. Then a great number of vultures and other birds of prey were seen for a number of days before the battle, hovering over the Roman army, and several swarms of bees were found within the precincts of the camp. So alarming was this last indication that the officers altered the line of the entrenchments so as to shut out the ill-omened spot from the camp. These and other such things had great influence upon the mind of Cassius, in convincing him that some great disaster was impending over him. Nor was Brutus himself without warnings of this character. though they seem to have had less power to produce any serious impression upon his mind than in the case of Cassius. The most extraordinary warning which Brutus received, according to the story of his ancient historians, was by a supernatural apparition which he saw some time before while he was in Asia Minor. He was encamped near the city of Sardis at that time. He was always accustomed to sleep very little, and would often, it was said, when all his officers had retired and the camp was still, sit alone in his tent, sometimes reading, and sometimes revolving the anxious cares which were always pressing upon his mind. One night he was thus alone in his tent, with a small lamp burning before him, sitting lost in thought, when he suddenly heard a movement as of someone entering the tent. He looked up and saw a strange, unearthly, and monstrous shape, which appeared to have just entered the door and was coming toward him. The spirit gazed upon him as it advanced, but it did not speak. Brutus, who was not much accustomed to fear, boldly demanded of the apparition who and what it was, and what had brought it there. "I am your evil spirit," said the apparition. "I shall meet you at Philippi." "Then it seems," said Brutus, "that at any rate I shall see you again." The spirit made no reply to this, but immediately vanished. Brutus arose, went to the door of his tent, summoned the sentinels, and awakened the soldiers that were sleeping near. The sentinels had seen nothing, and, after the most diligent search, no trace of the mysterious visitor could be found. The next morning Brutus related to Cassius the occurrence which he had witnessed. Cassius, though very sensitive, it seems, to the influence of omens affecting himself, was quite philosophical in his views in respect to those of other men. He argued very rationally with Brutus to convince him that the vision which he had seen was only a phantom of sleep, taking its form and character from the ideas and images which the situation in which Brutus was then placed, and the fatigue and anxiety which he had endured, would naturally impress upon his mind. But to return to the battle. Brutus fought against Octavius, while Cassius, 2 or 3 miles distant, encountered Antony, that having been, as will be recollected, the disposition of the respective armies and their encampments upon the plain. Brutus was triumphantly successful in his part on the field. His troops defeated the army of Octavius and got possession of his camp. The men forced their way into Octavius's tent and pierced the litter in which they supposed that the sick general was lying through and through with their spears. But the object of their desperate hostility was not there. He had been borne away by his guards a few minutes before, and no one knew what had become of him. The result of the battle was, however, unfortunately for those whose adventures we are now more particularly following, very different in Cassius's part of the field. When Brutus, after completing the conquest of his immediate foes, returned to his elevated camp, he looked toward the camp of Cassius, and was surprised to find that the tents had disappeared. Some of the officers around perceived weapons glancing and glittering in the sun in the place where Cassius's tents ought to appear. Brutus now suspected the truth, which was that
Shout out to the
Cassius had
6 in the
defeated
chat.
and his
Appreciate you
camp had
guys.
fallen into the hands of the enemy. He immediately collected together as large a force as he could command, and marched to the relief of his colleague. He found him at last, posted with a small body of guards and attendants upon the top of the small elevation to which he had fled for safety. Cassius saw the troop of horsemen which Brutus sent forward coming toward him, and supposed that it was a detachment from Antony's army advancing to capture him. He, however, sent a messenger forward to meet them, and ascertain whether they were friends or foes. The messenger, whose name was Titinius, rode down. The horsemen recognized Titinius, and, riding up eagerly around him, they dismounted from their horses to congratulate him on his safety, and to press him with inquiries in respect to the result of the battle and the fate of his master. Cassius, seeing all this, but not seeing it very distinctly, supposed that the troop of horsemen were enemies, and that they had surrounded Titinius and had cut him down or made him prisoner. He considered it certain, therefore, that all was now finally lost. Accordingly, in execution of a plan which he had previously formed, he called a servant named Pindarus, whom he directed to follow him, and went into a tent which was near. When Brutus and his horsemen came up, they entered the tent. They found no living person within, but the dead body of Cassius was there, the head being totally dissevered from it. Pindarus was never afterward to be found. Brutus was overwhelmed with grief at the death of his colleague. He was also oppressed by it with a double burden of responsibility and care, since now the whole conduct of affairs devolved upon him alone. He found himself surrounded with difficulties which became more and more embarrassing every day. At length he was compelled to fight a second battle. The details of the contest itself we cannot give, but the result of it was that, notwithstanding the most unparalleled and desperate exertions made by Brutus to keep his men to the work and to maintain his ground, his troops were borne down and overwhelmed by the irresistible onsets of his enemies, and his cause was irretrievably and hopelessly ruined. When Brutus found that all was lost, he allowed himself to be conducted off the field by a small body of guards, who, in their retreat, broke through the ranks of the enemy on the side where they saw that they should meet with the least resistance. They were, however, pursued by a squadron of horse, the horsemen being eager to make Brutus a prisoner. In this emergency, one of Brutus's friends, named Lucilius, conceived the design of pretending to be Brutus, and, as such, surrendering himself a prisoner. This plan he carried into effect. When the troop came up, he called out for quarter, said that he was Brutus, and begged them to spare his life and to take him to Antony. The men did so, rejoicing at having, as they imagined, secured so invaluable a prize. In the meantime, the real Brutus pressed on to make his escape. He crossed a brook which came in his way, and entered into a little dell, which promised to afford a hiding place, as it was encumbered with precipitous rocks and shaded with trees. A few friends and officers accompanied Brutus in his flight. Night soon came on, and he lay down in a little recess under a shelving rock, exhausted with fatigue and suffering. Then, raising his eyes to heaven, he imprecated, in lines quoted from a Greek poet, the just judgment of God upon the foes who were at that hour triumphing in what he considered the ruin of his country. He then, in his anguish and despair, enumerated by name the several friends and companions whom he had seen fall that day in battle, mourning the loss of each with bitter grief. In the meantime, night was coming on, and the party, concealed thus in the wild dell, were destitute and unsheltered. Hungry and thirsty, and spent with fatigue as they were, there seemed to be no prospect for them of either rest or refreshment. Finally, they sent one of their number to steal softly back to the rivulet which they had crossed in their retreat, to bring them some water. The soldier took his helmet to bring the water in for want of any other vessel. While Brutus was drinking the water which they brought, a noise was heard in the opposite direction. 2 of the officers were sent to ascertain the cause. They came back soon, reporting that there was a party of the enemy in that quarter. They asked where the water was which had been brought. Brutus told them that it had all been drunk, but that he would immediately send for more. The messenger went accordingly to the brook again, but he came back very soon, wounded and bleeding, and reported that the enemy was close upon them on that side too, and that he had narrowly escaped with his life. The apprehensions of Brutus's party were greatly increased by these tidings. It was evident that all hope of being able to remain long concealed where they were must fast disappear. One of the officers, named Statilius, then proposed to make the attempt to find his way out of the snare in which they had become involved. He would go, he said, as cautiously as possible, avoiding all parties of the enemy, and being favored by the darkness of the night, he hoped to find some way of retreat. If he succeeded, he would display a torch on a distant elevation which he designated, so that the party in the glen, on seeing the light, might be assured of his safety. He would then return and guide them all through the danger, by the way which he should have discovered. This plan was approved, and Statilius accordingly departed. In due time, the light was seen burning at the place which had been pointed out, and indicating that Statilius had accomplished his undertaking. Brutus and his party were greatly cheered by the new hope which this result awaited. They began to watch and listen for their messenger's return. They watched and waited long, but he did not come. On the way back, he was intercepted and slain. When at length all hope that he would return was finally abandoned, some of the party, in the course of the despairing consultations which the unhappy fugitives held with one another, said that they must not remain any longer where they were, but must make their escape from that spot at all hazards. Yes, said Brutus, we must indeed make our escape from our present situation, but we must do it with our hands and not with our feet. He meant by this that the only means now left to them to evade their enemies was self-destruction. When his friends understood that this was his meaning, and that he was resolved to put this design into execution in his own case, they were overwhelmed with sorrow. Brutus took them one by the hand, and bade them farewell. He thanked them for their fidelity in adhering to his cause to the last, and said that it was a source of great comfort and satisfaction to him that all his friends had proved so faithful and true. I do not complain of my hard fate, he added, so far as I myself am concerned. I mourn only for my unhappy country. As to myself, I think that my condition even now is better than that of my enemies. For though I die, posterity will do me justice, and I shall enjoy forever the honor which virtue and integrity deserve, while they, though they live only to reap the bitter fruits of injustice and tyranny. After I am gone, he continued, addressing his friends, as before, think no longer of me, but take care of yourselves. Antony, I am sure, will be satisfied with Cassius's death and mine. He will not be disposed to pursue you vindictively any longer. Make peace with him on the best terms that you can. Brutus then asked first one and then another of his friends to aid him in the last duty, as he seems to have considered it, of destroying his life, but one after another declared that they could not do anything to assist him in carrying into effect so dreadful a determination. Finally, he took with him an old and long-tried friend named Strato, and went away a little, apart from the rest. Here he solicited once more the favor which had been refused him before, begging that Strato would hold out his sword. Strato still refused. Brutus then called one of his slaves. Upon this, Strato declared that he would do anything rather than that Brutus should die by the hand of a slave. He took the sword, and with his right hand held it extended in the air. With the left hand he covered his eyes, that he might not witness the horrible
Don't
spectacle.
go to sleep, okay?
Brutus rushed upon the point of the weapon with such fatal force that he fell and immediately expired.
Yep, shout to the
Thus
seven
ended the
still.
great and famous battle of Philippi, celebrated in history as marking the termination of the great conflict between the friends and the enemies of Caesar, which agitated the world so deeply after the conqueror's death. This battle established the ascendancy of Antony, and made him for a time the most conspicuous man, as Cleopatra was the most conspicuous woman in the world. End of chapter 9. Chapter 10 of Cleopatra. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Reading by Robin Cotter, May 2008. Cleopatra by Jacob Abbott. Chapter 10 Cleopatra and Antony. How far Cleopatra was influenced in her determination to espouse the cause of Antony rather than that of Brutus and Cassius in the civil war described in the last chapter, by gratitude to Caesar, and how far, on the other hand, by personal interest in Antony, the reader must judge. Cleopatra had seen Antony, it will be recollected, some years before, during his visit to Egypt, when she was a young girl. She was doubtless well acquainted with his character. It was a character peculiarly fitted, in some respects, to captivate the imagination of a woman so ardent and impulsive and bold as Cleopatra was fast becoming. Antony had, in fact, made himself an object of universal interest throughout the world, by his wild and eccentric manners and reckless conduct, and by
Shout
the
out
very
to the six.
extraordinary vicissitudes which had
Excuse me,
marked
in
his
the chat.
career. In moral character he was as utterly abandoned and depraved as it was possible to be. In early life, as has already been stated, he plunged into such a course of dissipation and extravagance that he became utterly and hopelessly ruined, or rather he would have been so, had he not, by the influence of that magic power of fascination which such characters often possess, succeeded in gaining a great ascendancy over a young man of immense fortune, named Curio, who for a time upheld him by becoming surety for his debts. This resource, however, soon failed, and Antony was compelled to abandon Rome, and to live for some years as a fugitive and exile, in dissolute wretchedness and want. During all the subsequent vicissitudes through which he passed in the course of his career, the same habits of lavish expenditure continued whenever he had funds at his command. This trait of character took the form sometimes of a noble generosity. In his campaigns, the plunder which he acquired he usually divided among his soldiers, reserving nothing for himself. This made his men enthusiastically devoted to him, and led them to consider his prodigality as a virtue, even when they did not themselves derive any direct advantage from it. 1,000 stories were always in circulation in Camp of Acts on his part, illustrating his reckless disregard of the value of money, some ludicrous, and all eccentric and strange. In his personal habits, too, he was as different as possible from other men. He prided himself on being descended from Hercules, and he affected a style of dress and a general air and manner in accordance with the savage character of this his pretended ancestor. His features were sharp, his nose was arched and prominent, and he wore his hair and beard very long, as long, in fact, as he could make them grow. These peculiarities imparted to his countenance a very wild and ferocious expression. He adopted a style of dress, too, which, judged of with reference to the prevailing fashions of the time, gave to his whole appearance a rough, savage, and reckless air. His manner and demeanor corresponded with his dress and appearance. He lived in habits of the most unreserved familiarity with his soldiers. He associated freely with them, ate and drank with them in the open air, and joined in their noisy mirth and rude and boisterous hilarity. His commanding powers of mind and the desperate recklessness of his courage enabled him to do all this without danger. These qualities inspired in the minds of the soldiers a feeling of profound respect for their commander, and this good opinion he was enabled to retain, notwithstanding such habits of familiarity with his inferiors as would have been fatal to the influence of an ordinary man. In the most prosperous portion of Antony's career, for example, during the period immediately preceding the death of Caesar,
Thank y'all for
he
the
addicted
16 likes.
himself to
Appreciate it.
vicious indulgences of the most open, public, and shameless character. He had around him a sort of court formed of jesters, tumblers, mountebanks, play actors, and other similar characters of the lowest and most disreputable class. Many of these companions were singing and dancing girls, very beautiful and very highly accomplished in the arts of their respective professions, but all totally corrupt and depraved. Public sentiment, even in that age and nation, strongly condemned this conduct. The people were pagans, it is true, but it is a mistake to suppose that the formation of a moral sentiment in the community against such vices as these is a work which Christianity alone can perform. There is a law of nature, in the form of an instinct universal in the race, imperiously enjoining that the connection of the sexes shall consist of the union of one man with one woman, and that woman his wife, and very sternly prohibiting every other. So that there has probably never been a community in the world so corrupt that a man could practice in it such vices as those of Antony, without not only violating his own sense of right and wrong, but also bringing upon himself the general condemnation of those around him. Still, the world is prone to be very tolerant in respect to the vices of the great. Such exalted personages as Antony seem to be judged by a different standard from common men. Even in the countries where those who occupy high stations of trust or of power are actually selected, for the purpose of being placed there, by the voices of their fellow men, all inquiry into the personal character of a candidate is often suppressed, such inquiry being condemned as wholly irrelevant and improper, and they who succeed in attaining to power enjoy immunities in their elevation which are denied to common men. But notwithstanding the influence of Antony's rank and power in shielding him from public censure, he carried his excesses to such an extreme that his conduct was very loudly and very generally condemned. He would spend all the night in carousals, and then the next day would appear in public staggering in the streets. Sometimes he would enter the tribunals for the transaction of business when he was so intoxicated that it would be necessary for friends to come to his assistance to conduct him away. In some of his journeys in the neighborhood of Rome, he would take a troop of companions with him of the worst possible character, and travel with them openly and without shame. There was a certain actress, named Cytheride, whom he made his companion on one such occasion. She was borne upon a litter in his train, and he carried about with him a vast collection of gold and silver plate and of splendid table furniture, together with an endless supply of luxurious articles of food and of wine, to provide for the entertainments and banquets which he was to celebrate with her on the journey. He would sometimes stop by the roadside, pitch his tents, establish his kitchens, set his cooks at work to prepare a feast, spread his tables, and make a sumptuous banquet of the most costly, complete, and ceremonious character, all to make men wonder at the abundance and perfection of the means of luxury which he could carry with him wherever he might go. In fact, he always seemed to feel a special pleasure in doing strange and extraordinary things in order to excite surprise. Once on a journey he had lions harnessed to his carts to draw his baggage, in order to create a sensation. Notwithstanding the heedlessness with which Antony abandoned himself to these luxurious pleasures when at Rome, No man could endure exposure and hardship better when in camp or on the field. In fact, he rushed with as much headlong precipitation into difficulty and danger when abroad as into expense and dissipation.
John Parker,
when at
what's up,
home.
buddy? Good morning, man.
During his contests with Octavius and Lepidus after Caesar's death,
How
he
you doing
once
this morning,
had
buddy?
occasion to pass the Alps, which, with his customary recklessness, he attempted to traverse without any proper supplies of stores or means of transportation. He was reduced on the passage,
Thank you
together
for being
with
a
the
member,
troops
John. I
under his
appreciate it, buddy.
command, to the most extreme destitution and distress. They had to feed on roots and herbs, and finally on the bark of trees, and they barely preserved themselves by these means from actual starvation. Antony seemed, however, to care nothing for all this, but pressed on through the difficulty and danger, manifesting the same daring and determined unconcern to the end. In the same campaign he found himself at one time reduced to extreme destitution in respect to men. His troops had been gradually wasted away until his situation had become very desperate. He conceived under these circumstances the most extraordinary idea of going over alone to the camp
I'm
of
good, brother.
Lepidus
Appreciate it, man.
and enticing away his
Definitely
rival's
good.
troops from under the very eyes of their commander. This bold design was successfully executed. Antony advanced alone, clothed in wretched garments, and with his matted hair and beard hanging about his breast and shoulders, up to Lepidus's lines. The men, who knew him well, received him with acclamations, and pitying the sad condition to which they saw that he was reduced, began to listen to what he had to say. Lepidus, who could not attack him, since he and Antony were not at that time in open hostility to each other, but were only rival commanders in the same army, ordered the trumpeters to sound in order to make a noise which should prevent the words of Antony from being heard. This interrupted the negotiation, but the men immediately disguised 2 of their number in female apparel and sent them to Antony to make arrangements with him for putting themselves under his command, and offering at the same time to murder Lepidus if he would but speak the word. Antony charged them to do Lepidus no injury. He, however, went over and took possession of the camp and assumed the command of the army. He treated Lepidus himself personally with extreme politeness and retained him as a subordinate under his command. Not far from the time of Caesar's death, Antony was married. The name of the lady was Fulvia. She was a widow at the time of her marriage with Antony, and was a woman of very marked and decided character. She had led a wild and irregular life previous to that time, but she conceived a very strong attachment to her new husband, and devoted herself to him from the time of her marriage with the most constant fidelity. She soon acquired a very great ascendancy over him, and was the means of effecting a very considerable reform in his conduct and character. She was an ambitious and aspiring woman, and made many very efficient and successful efforts to promote the elevation and aggrandizement of her husband. She appeared also to take great pride and pleasure in exercising over him herself a great personal control. She succeeded in these attempts in a manner that surprised everybody. It seemed astonishing to all mankind that such a tiger as he had been could be subdued by any human power. Nor was it by gentleness and mildness that Fulvia gained such power over her husband. She was of a very stern and masculine character, and she seems to have mastered Antony by surpassing him in the use of his own weapons. In fact, instead of attempting to soothe and mollify him, she reduced him, it seems, to the necessity of resorting to various contrivances to soften and propitiate her. Once, for example, on his return from a campaign in which he had been exposed to great dangers, he disguised himself and came home at night in the garb of a courier bearing dispatches. He caused himself to be ushered, muffled and disguised as he was, into Fulvia's apartments, where he handed her some pretended letters, which he said were from her husband. And while Fulvia was opening them in great excitement and trepidation, he threw off his disguise and revealed himself to her by clasping her in his arms and kissing her in the midst of her amazement. Antony's marriage with Fulvia, besides being the means of reforming his morals in some degree, softened and civilized him in respect to his manners. His dress and appearance now assumed a different character.
In fact, his political elevation after Caesar's death soon became very exalted, and the various democratic arts by which he had sought to raise himself to it, being now no longer necessary, were, as usual in such cases, gradually discarded. He lived in great style and splendor when at Rome, and when absent from home on his military campaigns, he began to exhibit the same pomp and parade in his equipage and in his arrangements as were usual in the camps of other Roman generals. After the battle of Philippi, described in the last chapter, Antony, who, with all his faults, was sometimes a very generous foe, as soon as the tidings of Brutus's death were brought to him, repaired immediately to the spot, and appeared to be quite shocked and concerned at the sight of the body. He took off his own military cloak or mantle, which was a very magnificent and costly garment, being enriched with many expensive ornaments, and spread it over the corpse. He then gave directions to one of the officers of his household to make arrangements for funeral ceremonies of a very imposing character, as a testimony of his respect for the memory of the deceased. In these ceremonies it was the duty of the officer to have burned the military cloak which Antony had appropriated to the purpose of a pall with the body. He did not, however, do so. The cloak being very valuable, he reserved it, and he withheld also a considerable part of the money which had been given him for the expenses of the funeral. He supposed that Antony would probably not inquire very closely into the details of the arrangements made for the funeral of his most inveterate enemy. Antony, however, did inquire into them, and when he learned what the officer had done, he ordered him to be killed. The various political changes which occurred, and the movements which took place among the several armies after the battle of Philippi, can not be here detailed. It is sufficient to say that Antony proceeded to the eastward through Asia Minor, and in the course of the following year came to Cilicia. From this place he sent a messenger to Egypt, to Cleopatra, summoning her to appear before him. There were charges, he said, against her of having aided Cassius and Brutus in the late war, instead of rendering assistance to him. Whether there really were any such charges, or whether they were only fabricated by Antony as pretexts for seeing Cleopatra, the fame of whose beauty was very widely extended, does not certainly appear. However this may be, he sent to summon the queen to come to him. The name of the messenger whom Antony dispatched on this errand was Dellius. Fulvia, Antony's wife, was not with him at this time. She had been left behind at Rome. Dellius proceeded to Egypt and appeared at Cleopatra's court. The queen was at this time about 28, but more beautiful, as was said, than ever before. Dellius was very much struck with her beauty, and with a certain fascination in her voice and conversation, of which her ancient biographers often speak as one of the most irresistible of her charms. He told her that she need have no fear of Antony. It was of no consequence, he said, what charges there might be against her. She would find that in a very few days, after she had entered into Antony's presence, she would be in great favor. She might rely, in fact, he said, on gaining very speedily an unbounded ascendancy over the general. He advised her, therefore, to proceed to Cilicia without fear, and to present herself before Antony in as much pomp and magnificence as she could command. He would answer, he said, for the result. Cleopatra, determined to follow this advice, in fact her ardent and impulsive imagination was fired with the idea of making a second time the conquest of the greatest general and highest potentate in the world. She began immediately to make provision for the voyage. She employed all the resources of her kingdom in procuring for herself the most magnificent means of display, such as expensive and splendid dresses, rich services of plate, ornaments of precious stones and of gold, and presents in great variety and of the most costly description for Antony. She appointed also a numerous retinue of attendants to accompany her, and, in a word, made all the arrangements complete for an expedition of the most imposing and magnificent character. While these preparations were going forward, she received new and frequent communications from Antony, urging her to hasten her departure, but she paid very little attention to them. It was evident that she felt quite independent, and was intending to take her own time. At length, however, all was ready, and Cleopatra set sail. She crossed the Mediterranean Sea and entered the mouth of the river Cydnus. Antony was at Tarsus, a city upon the Cydnus, a small distance above its mouth. When Cleopatra's fleet had entered the river, she embarked on board a most magnificent barge which she had constructed for the occasion and had brought with her across the sea. This barge was the most magnificent and highly ornamented vessel that had ever been built. It was adorned with carvings and decorations of the finest workmanship and elaborately gilded. The sails were of purple, and the oars were inlaid and tipped with silver. Upon the deck of this barge Queen Cleopatra appeared, under a canopy of cloth of gold. She was dressed very magnificently in the costume in which Venus, the goddess of beauty, was then generally represented. She was surrounded by a company of beautiful boys, who attended upon her in the form of cupids, and fanned her with their wings, and by a group of young girls representing the nymphs and the graces. There was a band of musicians stationed upon the deck. This music guided the oarsmen, as they kept time to it in their rowing. And, soft as the melody was, the strains were heard far and wide over the water and along the shores. As the beautiful vessel advanced on its way, the performers were provided with flutes, lyres, viols, and all the other instruments customarily used in those times to produce music of a gentle and voluptuous kind. Illustration: Meeting of Cleopatra and Antony. In fact, the whole spectacle seemed like a vision of enchantment. Tidings of the approach of the barge spread rapidly around, and the people of the country came down in crowds to the shores of the river to gaze upon it in admiration as it glided slowly along. At the time of its arrival at Tarsus, Antony was engaged in giving a public audience at some tribunal in his palace. But everybody ran to see Cleopatra and the barge, and the great triumpher was left consequently alone, or at least with only a few official attendants near him. Cleopatra, on arriving at the city, landed and began to pitch her tents on the shores. Antony sent a messenger to bid her welcome, and to invite her to come and sup with him. She declined the invitation, saying that it was more proper that he should come and sup with her. She would accordingly expect him to come, she said, and her tents would be ready at the proper hour. Antony complied with her proposal and came to her entertainment. He was received with a magnificence and splendor which amazed him. The tents and pavilions where the entertainment was made were illuminated with an immense number of lamps. These lamps were arranged in a very ingenious and beautiful manner, so as to produce an illumination of the most surprising brilliancy and beauty. The immense number and variety, too, of the meats and wines, and of the vessels of gold and silver with which the tables were loaded, and the magnificence and splendor of the dresses worn by Cleopatra and her attendants, combined to render the whole scene one of bewildering enchantment. The next day, Antony invited Cleopatra to come and return his visit. But, though he made every possible effort to provide a banquet as sumptuous and as sumptuously served as hers, he failed entirely in this attempt, and acknowledged himself completely
Well,
outdone.
guys, I'm gonna jump off here, man. I'm starting
Antony
to fall
was,
asleep,
moreover,
guys.
at these
I'll see you guys
interviews,
on
perfectly fascinated
the
with
next one, guys.
Cleopatra's charms,
I'm
her
starting to fall
beauty,
damn
her
sleep.
wit, her thousand
Let me
accomplishments,
turn this
and
around,
above
man.
all, the tact and adroitness
I'm really
and
starting to fall damn
self-possession
sleep.
which she displayed in assuming at once so boldly and carrying out so adroitly the idea of her social superiority over him, that he yielded his heart almost
Good night, Lisa.
immediately
Appreciate you,
to her
sweetie.
undisputed sway. The first use which Cleopatra made of her power was to ask Antony, for her sake, to order her sister Arsinoe to be slain. Arsinoe had gone, it will be recollected, to Rome, to grace Caesar's triumph